to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show with the three amigos. Hotman, Crowder, and Solana on FM radio. Them boys be sliding, so we riding and we ready to go. 100,000 watts full throttle, baby, ready to blow. We passing Coca to Jupiter, we got your attention. You can tune in anywhere, but listen at your discretion. To the legend, Mr. Hotman can't stop him, each of the deuce. My brother got his own hot burger at Tucker Deuce. Now my rush more of these sports, spitting the truth. It's Channing Crowder, greatest Dolphins, who rock up 52. Solana one best of Miami, the voice of FIU. We reppin' to Miami, the Heat and the Panthers too. We reppin' for the Marlins, the Dolphins, that's how we do. We reppin' for the Crips, so it's always about the you. Hey Jimmy, please get a Pell on the phone and tell him that it's on. I finally got his name on the song, can't do him wrong, cause it sounds so sweet. You spit the facts while I keep the crowd on their feet. Football season be the reason that I be bringing this heat. Georgia music representing 104.3. Hey,
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Well, we finally know where Todd Monken is going. Huh? Going to be the new Cleveland Browns head coach. I just wanted to get the big news out of the way first.
Who is that?
I imagine everybody says that about Jeff Hafley, right? Like when the Dolphins announce, or it goes on breaking news, Jeff Hafley's going to the Dolphins. Don't you think the entire country, including Miami, goes, who is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the I have heard the name Todd Monken before. I wasn't really starting the show that way. I just happened to see it up on ESPN. But I do think I think less people know Jeff Hafley than Todd Monken.
Probably. Monken was the offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Especially in that area. Like, Browns fans know who that is.
Right.
None of us knew who Hafley was other than the tweets suggesting Hafley could be your next head coach because of the tie-in to Sully.
Do we as Dolphins fans aspire to fairness in sports? Crowder's going to join us later on in the program, by the way. He is in New York. He's doing some pivot episodes. He made it up there safely, and he will join us later on in the program. We have a loaded potato today. Do we aspire, as Dolphins fans specifically, to fairness in sports, or are we petty? Because Bill Belichick not being a first-round Hall of Famer is not fair. But I have a tough time caring. People are outraged. Jimmy Johnson was on with Joe Rose this morning. He's outraged. I have a list of tweets from athletes, politicians. I mean, it runs the gamut, who cannot believe that Bill Belichick did not get in the first round. And obviously, he deserves it, but also, so what? It's Bill Belichick. That guy, in my opinion, didn't treat people that fairly, didn't treat the media that fairly, didn't treat some of his own players fairly. So I'm having a tough time getting to this place of being outraged that he didn't get in there, unless you aspire to 100% complete fairness. Doesn't matter what the person did, doesn't matter what their personality is, because he's a Hall of Famer. There's no question he's going to go in. I don't give a bleep that he has to eat some bleep before he gets in, because maybe he rubbed some people the wrong way. You know how you avoid that? Don't rub people the wrong way. Now, if you do and you have that personality, this is some of what comes with it. Big deal. You're going to go into the Hall of Fame. Again, it just depends on what you consider to be fair versus petty versus deserving. And I have a tough time with him because just wasn't a very good guy for a lot of the time.
But that's not why he's being let off, I don't think. I think it has more to do with people saying, hey, he cheated.
Right.
It's on record. He cheated. It's not because he was.
Right. No. But that's not being good to people. That's not being good to the game.
Right.
Again, Jimmy Johnson was on with Joe this morning, and he said, hey, we did it. Everybody tried to do it.
Jimmy Johnson today was revealing a lot more than he needed to make a point about Bill Belichick.
Yeah, well, he's at that place.
I love him, but
say what he wants to say.
He didn't need to say any of that to support Bill Belichick. Yesterday, Hoch, this story breaks in the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha happy hour, and I defended Belichick. I said, this is ridiculous. But my mind went to one place at one place only, which is people are sick of Bill Belichick over the past couple of years because he's having he has a relationship with a 24-year-old that's wildly annoying, and he's made a mockery of himself since leaving New England. It never dawned on me during that conversation that, no, this has to do with the fact that he cheated. And by the way, as I'm driving home from the Amerant Bank Arena yesterday, I felt a little dirty defending Belichick as passionately as I did. With all that being said, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. If you're just looking at the accomplishments, period, end of story, and you're not allowing any context and any baggage. And I know this isn't fair. With some people, I would say forget about the context. With him, I don't care. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Could the Heat be in the Giannis sweepstakes?
Could?
Here's what Ira Winderman writes about, because I don't know if you saw, there's some odds, right? Did you see the odds from
Bet Online?
Yeah, Bet Online.
Not great if you're a Heat fan and you want Giannis.
They have the Rockets at 2-1, Knicks 3-1, Atlanta 4-1, Spurs 6-1, Raptors 8-1, OKC 10-1, and the Heat 12-1. Again, these odds don't mean anything. This is what Ira Winderman wrote in the Sun Sentinel. And this is what he considers to be the absolute best. When it comes to the player portion of the equation, here is arguably a maximal version of what the Heat could send out in a bid to get him from the Bucks. Tyler Hero, Kalel Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Yakuchonis, Terry Rozier's expiring salary. In return, they get Giannis and Thanasis. Whatever. Like trying to learn how to pronounce Zoran. And he writes, not only does the addition of Thanasis assist in cap matching math, but remember when the Heat acquired Goran in the February 2015 trade with the Sun, they also took on brother Zoran in the same deal. I do find it funny, too, that we kill LeBron James for getting his son into the league. Nobody seems to care that Goran and Giannis dragging their brothers all over the league for years.
No, people have been making fun of Thanasis, and anytime he gets on the floor, it's a mockery of the game. The Bucks definitely get a lot of flack for Thanasis being on that roster. There was another Antetokounmpo brother on that roster at one point too.
That's the player portion, Ira says, that would require the Heat back into the luxury tax. But with an opportunity to add a player such as Giannis, such triviality can be left for another day, or by the Heat shaving another salary at the deadline. The Bucks, of course, would need to rebuild their future with enough pick packages in recent years to create a hunger for more than the first 2-round picks the Heat currently have available to put in play, which is 2030 and 2032. When considering, Ira writes, Desmond Bane netted the Grizzlies 4 first-round picks from the Magic, and Mikal Bridges netted the Nets 5 first-round picks from the New York Knicks. So Ira says, with that in mind, a picks package to put into play for the Heat could shake out something like a 2030 first-round pick, 2032 first-round pick, an additional first-round pick to be acquired by the Heat at the deadline in exchange for Andrew Wiggins. There also is a way to write the pick package to get a Heat first-rounder to the Bucks as soon as 2029, depending on when the Heat conditional pick owed to the Hornets gets put into play. So Ira says, to recap, the maximum throw everything for Giannis package would come down to Hero, Wiggins, Jaquez, Ware, Yakuchonis, Rozier's contract, plus all remaining available Heat first-round draft capital. As for what the Heat would look like with such a deal, it would look like Adebayo, center, Giannis, Pelle Larsson are your forwards, Norman Powell, Davion Mitchell are your guards, and your bench is Zoran Thanasis and the other Antetokounmpo brother that they're going to try to lure out of retirement.
That starting five you just named, though, that starting five is, in my opinion, a contending for this season in the Eastern Conference, a contending starting five.
Bam and Giannis.
Davion, Norm, and Pella.
Bam and Giannis.
Oh, for sure. But Norman Powell as your three is shades of Chris Middleton as your three.
And Iris has drastic, absolutely. Enough, possibly not. Too much, the draft capital and possibly Jaquez and Yakachonis might be sent out only grudgingly. But with plenty of liar's poker between now and next Thursday, a hand that could still be of considerable value.
This, to me, becomes a litmus test to whether or not the Heat front office played their cards correctly with Tyler Hero. They believed, in my opinion, I'm not telling you that this is on paper, but in my opinion, Hoch, the Heat front office never wanted to trade Tyler Hero unless it meant it was landing them a Giannis-type player, the 5 or 6 select superstars.
Yep.
They never wanted to move on from Tyler. Could have traded him last year at his absolute peak when he was an all-star. Could have traded him in the offseason. Could have traded him a couple years ago. They never wanted to move on from Tyler because they believed that they could build around Tyler and hopefully land a whale via free agency. That hasn't happened. Or they could use Tyler as a good enough bargaining chip in a trade for a player like Giannis. And now it's the time to move everything you have, other than Bam in this scenario, to try to lure the Bucks into listening for an offer that starts with Tyler. Will it be enough? We'll find out. If it's not, if they're not even considering that, then we'll know the Miami Heat front office gravely miscalculated Tyler Hero and what he could land them in a hypothetical trade for one of these superstars. There are other options, by the way, to add to your draft capital. You move Andrew Wiggins for a pick now. Like there's
that's
other
what Iris
things
says.
they
Move
can
Wiggins
do.
to get another first rounder.
Right. What do the Warriors, how do they feel about this entire situation? Jonathan Kuminga in Golden State, he wants to be anywhere but there. He'd rather go play in China. Would they be willing, if Wiggs goes back there in return, which everybody kind of just assumes would be okay, would they send Jonathan Kuminga and help the Miami Heat get Giannis Antetokounmpo? Because now Tyler, Khalil Ware, Jaime, 2 first-round picks, Jonathan Kuminga, like now you're starting to see something develop there where you say, okay, that's a good enough haul. But do the Warriors say, well, no, we'll sit this one out. We'll wait until the offseason. Maybe we can pair Steph and Giannis somehow.
Jay Crowder has chimed in. He just retweeted the Woj bomb from 2 years ago now. Breaking, the Milwaukee Bucks dismissed coach Adrian Griffin. Sources tell ESPN. And Jay Crowder retweeted that and wrote, we were 30-13, by the way, to bring in Doc. This is what started the avalanche.
Yep. But guess who was behind that?
Giannis. Yeah. All right, let's do headlines. We have a loaded potato today. Will Manso is going to join us. We've got another pair of Heat and Bulls tickets for Sunday night. We are going to give them away at 5:20 this afternoon. 5:20 this afternoon. We will give away Heat and Bulls tickets for Sunday night at the Kaseya Center. By the way, speaking of the Kaseya Center, if you're going to the Heat game tonight, the Heat alerts everyone. There are road closures which may impact your commute to and from the Kaseya Center for tonight's game. The vice president, J.D. Vance, is in town. And so they do the motorcades and the road closures. They recommend to adjust your travel schedule to provide ample time to navigate the area. Anyway, Will Manso is going to join us. Katie Meyer is going to join us today. She's got her banner going up in the rafters to the Watsco Center tomorrow night. And Frank Caliendo today. He was on with us a couple weeks ago, but he's got his shows this weekend in Naples, and we only played it the one time that he was on with us live. It may have been the best segment we've done in 5 years. So we're going to find time to replay that today. Headlines brought to you by Durrell Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Durrell Kia or DurrellKia.com.
My guess is most people, I don't know if there's a lot of people texting in. I haven't been able to get it up. My guess is most people agree with you.
How about the text line?
I mean, I saw that Giannis Shams bomb, and trust me, it was
You
up.
had no problem.
Trust me. Nobody in Miami feels badly about Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Like, he's going to get in.
Well, Jimmy Johnson certainly feels badly.
Yeah, but he's a coach. I'm talking about Dolphins fans.
I don't know. Some people aspire to just fairness, period. The fair thing is that he should be in. And again, I aspire to fairness in most situations, but I reserve the right to say, this guy kind of is getting a little bit of what he deserved. But he dished it out for years and years and years and years. And so, sorry, you didn't get in the first time, even though it's unfair.
Fairness? He cheated. What was fair about that? Literally cheated.
Well, served his punishment.
But now you get an opportunity to do something very few head coaches, I would imagine, Hoch, first ballot Hall of Famers. Well, as a head coach, I would imagine the list is few and far between.
I saw someone else tweet. I think it may have been Stephen A. Smith. It was something like, just said, if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then no coach should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
That's just not true. If even as great as he was, if he has a black mark on his coaching record where he literally undermined the integrity of the game, why shouldn't he suffer the consequences of a year?
Also, he was a jackass.
True. But are any of these people who are voting against him just jealous that he right now is in a relationship with a 25-year-old? Like, no, I don't know.
I believe it has to do with the integrity of the game.
Yeah.
I believe that, the voters, and there's 50 of them, and I think
because I'm jealous.
And Bill Polian, Bill Polian, the leak was that he was the one who argued against it. Then when he was contacted by a reporter, he said, no, it wasn't me. I voted for him. Then he has now said, I'm not 100% certain I voted for him, which I guarantee you he didn't vote for him, but he now knows that these votes are going to somehow get leaked.
Do you trust anything Bill Polian says about anything?
No.
Have you seen a picture of Bill Polian lately?
No, lately, no.
Yeah. That guy shouldn't be voting on anything. Anything.
No elections.
Zero.
All right.
The Miami Heat do play tonight, as Hoch mentioned, the Magic, 7:30 p.m. Tyler Hero's out.
Yeah.
Will continue to be out. Tomorrow they begin that stretch, 3 games versus the Bulls in 4 nights. So gear up, everybody.
I'm excited.
Another layer to the Giannis stuff could involve the Orlando Magic. I'll explain later why, but there was this ESPN report that Paolo Banchero, Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Orlando Magic, aren't too thrilled with one another behind the scenes. Yesterday, Darian Mensah was in Miami, took his tour. That's the Duke quarterback. He officially committed to the U. Hoch, you have your quarterback for next season.
You saw him last night?
I did.
He was out on South Beach.
Good.
He was at Prime 112.
Mm-hmm.
I think Edrin James was with him. Malachi Toney was there. The who's who. Miles, the owner of Prime 112.
Already living the life.
Living the life.
You're the starting quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes. That has cachet again, does it not?
Oh, my God. I remember Tate Martell.
Brad Kaya, Malik Rozier, Tate Martell.
Yeah. You remember?
Yeah, those guys were running Miami.
You remember that era?
You think Tate Martell could have walked into Prime 112 with no reservation and like, hey, I'm Tate Martell?
I think maybe a day or two after he got cleared by the NCAA to transfer.
After your radio segment.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Panthers, they lost to the Utah Mammoth 4-3 last night. They'll be in the Loop tomorrow.
Yeah, my Panthers bet lost, and the tennis parlay you gave me lost.
That was, I'm not joking, one of the most frustrating
Man.
matches I've ever watched in my entire life.
Whatever.
38
Not listening to you anymore. On
unforced
tennis.
errors. I had it, though.
Yeah, well,
Huck,
you
I
did.
had it.
You did.
I had it.
You didn't.
The Browns, they hired Todd Monken as their new head coach.
Thank God.
Your weather, it's cold. By the way, you sent me something today. It's going to be Sunday morning, 30 degrees in Miami.
I texted to Frank Caliendo because he's coming to Naples this weekend, and I know people are like, "Oh, Florida, it's the only place on earth that's warm right now." And I'm like, "Bro, be ready." The tweet I saw, it says, "Alert, generational cold event." Now, this is a weathercaster who I follow in Tampa because my son goes to school there. But it says the coldest air since 2010 arrives Sunday morning. I can't remember the last time Florida had single digits for wind chills. Now, that's up in northern Florida, the single digits. But looking on like the West Coast, Naples, you're looking at 32, 29. And down here, like Coral Springs, 27 degrees with the wind chill. Like, these are legit cold temps.
27 degrees. F that, man. F that. And all these people are pretending like, oh, it's beautiful. Let's enjoy the cold.
Well, it's beautiful right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
But this morning, Hawk, I woke up, there's 48 degrees outside.
Because I drove down from Boca, both windows open, the entire ride from Boca here. And it was dropping as from 12 to like 1:30. It went from 73 on the car thing to 67. Started to get colder. By the time we get out of here tonight at 6 o'clock, I don't think the windows are going to be open.
You're windows down guy on the highway?
Oh, yeah. If it's nice like this.
Windows down on the highway, though, Hawk.
If it's nice like this.
But you don't even hear the music. All you hear is the whole way with the wind.
What are you driving, a jalopy? Who are you, Jed Clampett, driving a Beverly Hillbillies?
That's all you hear. You just hear the wind smacking up against your car.
No, turn the volume up on the radio. I listened to all my music, and I had the windows down. It was a delightful drive.
The most I'll do is I'll crack the...
You're crack a window guy?
Not the window, but what's it called?
Sunroof?
The sunroof. I cracked the sunroof.
Oy.
Little fresh air coming through.
You need just a little touch of fresh air.
Just a little touch of fresh air.
You're scared of air on the highway?
I'm not scared of it.
Well,
I don't like the sound of wind.
The sound of wind scares you?
It doesn't scare me. I'm not scared. I just don't enjoy it.
It sounds like you're scared.
That's your weather.
All right. Will Manso is going to join us in the next segment. It is great, and Will can attest to it, to be a Miami Hurricane. That means you got to get to Caneswear in Davie. Hop on the website as well, caneswear.com. You will see an entire section of college football playoff merch. So you buy some gear to remember the season that we just had. There's some really cool stuff available. And, of course, plenty of stuff in the store as well. There's plenty of stuff in addition to Miami Hurricanes gear. Panthers merch, Heat merch, Dolphins, Inter Miami, Marlins. It is always a perfect time at the beginning of a year to refresh your wardrobe so that you've got new gear for all of 2026. So you could stop in at the store on Davie, on University Drive in Davie, or check out the website online, caneswear.com. In Davie, they're on University Drive right next to La Spada's. But I'm telling you, put some new gear into your rotation for the new year. So there's no better time than the present to do a little shopping at Caneswear. And if you're too loaded up with Canes football gear, you want to get a little Canes hoops gear. I mean, why not? They've got it there. And make sure you're following Caneswear on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You will get up-to-the-minute info on merch drops. Caneswear, the spot South Florida sports fans shop.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the hottest chick in the game right now, man.
WQAM
Yeah. Will Manso is going to join us here on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Of course, you watch him on Local 10 here in Miami. You also see him on Heat coverage on FanDuel Sports Network Sun. Heat Magic tonight from the Kaseya Center. Tips off at 7:30. Again, there's a traffic alert. You really go now. Road closures may impact your commute to and from the Kaseya Center for tonight's Heat Magic game. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, is in town, so the Heat are recommending you adjust your travel schedule to provide ample time to navigate the area. Will Manso, you'll see him tonight. Before we talk Heat, and I wanted to talk Dolphins, I wanted to talk Bill Belichick, but there's so much going on. But I have to ask you this, because we were talking about the weather, and I think that it's very nice out right now. And I was telling Solana, from Boca to the studios in Miami today, I drove on 95 all the way with both windows down. And he was shocked by this.
No shot. Will's a windows down on the highway guy.
He
no
can't
shot.
believe that I keep the windows down when I'm driving on the highway specifically. He says you can't hear anything. And I think on a nice day, I love having the windows down, the wind blowing around. Where do you side on that?
I'm on Team Solana on this one. I can't. No, I drive. There are days, like beautiful nights, where I drive back late from the station and I have a route. I live on Miami Beach. I could go down Collins all the way, or I can go 95. And I'll say, I'm going to roll down the windows, go down Collins. The speed limit is 30, 35. So
is it because of your newscaster hair?
No, it's because of the sound. It's not relaxing if it sounds like you're in a typhoon. It's like
I find that very relaxing.
But it sounds like there's a train over your head, Hoch.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have one of these old jalopies you guys are driving. I have a very aerodynamic car. I don't know what's happening with your guys' vehicles.
I can't tell you, I can't handle that wind.
So do you think the Heat will be active participants? And when I say active participants, legit participants in the Giannis sweepstakes?
I mean, the answer is absolutely yes. And I mean, I think we can go by that, by the breadcrumbs they've laid out over the last few years of every time that there have been players available, they have been very, I don't want to say weak, but certainly not aggressive in pursuit of their assets giving up for certain players. And I think that they
seem to have lost Will there.
Tiered assets, whatever you want to say, some picks and everything.
Will's back. We lost you there for a second. Yeah, you dropped out for a second.
The answer is yes. I mean, they have, and I think the proof is in the pudding of the last few years where they haven't been particularly aggressive for good to excellent players that have been available because they didn't want to give up the assets they had for the potential of a great player become available, i.e. Giannis. So I think absolutely they're going to try everything in their power, as other teams are that are considered contenders that feel that they can get them. But the answer is absolutely yes.
Will, I mean, it's arrived. The moment that the Heat have been kind of hoping for, because you and I have discussed free agency is no longer what it was a decade ago, which was wait until guys play out their contract, they decline their player option, and now they hit the open market. Now you have to trade for the superstars. And here you are, an opportunity where the superstar that the Heat have wanted for probably close to a decade is available, or seemingly is available. Does Miami, as we currently talk right now, does Miami have enough assets to, at the very least, be in the conversation?
I mean, the answer is yes, but the real answer lies with Milwaukee, and what they're looking for, because I don't know what Giannis is worth, but he's probably worth more than whatever the Heat can give and the Knicks can give and all the teams that are being mentioned can give, because he's a superstar, multiple MVP, finals MVP, all this stuff. That guy that still has a lot left in the tank. When healthy, he's one of the most dominant players in the league. So the answer is yes from the Heat perspective. I think they've aligned everything that they have possible, minus Bam, to go get him. But the Bucks may want more. The Bucks may be in a position where they're like, look, we're not just going to give him away for what we think is less than he's worth because the deadline is February 5th. This may go into the offseason. Now, again, the insiders and the Shams and the guys like that report this stuff and have the info from agents and all this stuff seem to think that there's a possibility it could happen before February 5th. But whatever is given for Giannis is worth it. Whatever team gets him, whatever you gave up is worth it, because you're getting a superstar player that few exist like that in the league.
I was reading Solana from Ira Winderman in the Sun Sentinel, essentially what the maximum he'd offer. They'd have to give up Tyler, Kalel, Jaime Jaquez, Kasparis Yakuchonis, Rozier's expiring salary, and also they would probably have to trade Wiggins to get a first-round pick in return so that they could then package in their first-round picks in 2030 and 32 and the pick that they would get in return for Wiggins. But what it leaves, Ira says, is the Heat with a lineup. They're starting five: Adebayo, Giannis, Pelle Larsson, Norman Powell, and Davion Mitchell. And Solana says that is immediately a contending team in the East.
I agree. And I think when you look at assets and players like that, like nobody wants to give up all those players. And if this doesn't happen, if it's not enough assets or it just doesn't fall in the Heat's favor, then you still have these young players, potentially other trades you could do down the line, or just the nucleus of this team. But guys, we got to be honest with ourselves. We see what this team is, the track record, pre-Jimmy, post-Jimmy, during Jimmy. I mean, they made the finals run. They were great. They have pivoted now to a position where they are stuck in the middle. And to get out of the middle, sometimes it takes dynamite. It takes an explosion. It takes a huge move. And do the Heat want to remain in this middle ground where they're a very solid team that can beat a lot of teams, lose to a lot of teams, be in the play and make the playoffs, whatever the case may be? Or do they want to say, hey, let's do this? I'll say this, again, the assets have been lined up and the attitude has been, we're waiting for that special player. And Pat Riley's 80 years old. I mean, Pat Riley is I don't think he's in a position where he's thinking, well, we'll keep our assets for another 3-4 years. I mean, they need to at some point strike, and the opportunity is there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do think they're going to do everything in their power to make it happen.
Will, I have been on the front lines on this show. Me versus a brigade of Hoch, Crowder, and most of the listeners arguing against the idea of trading Bam Adebayo. And I wonder, now that this conversation is legitimate and Milwaukee's listening to deals, or reportedly, if they tell you we want Bam and that's what we want.
It's an argument ender if
Correct.
You're not including them.
Do the Miami Heat consider it?
No. I think the answer is no, because if we're talking about getting a championship roster, you guys just laid out that roster, right? The potential starting lineup, right? I mean, if you lay a roster like that, you take Bam out of it, I don't think it's a championship lineup. I don't. And I don't know that anyone
but you're
else
still getting Giannis.
in the deal. You're getting Giannis. I get it. You're getting Giannis. You are a very upper tier team in the East, like the Bucks have been with Giannis. But look, the Bucks right now have Giannis, and they're not good.
True.
And I understand they've shed a lot of pieces and they've had injuries and all the things that have happened. But Giannis alone, to me, on the Heat isn't a championship. Giannis with Bam is the idea and the whole thought process, I think, the last 5 years of talks. So, yeah, to me, that's a deal breaker. It's not a thing where you would never trade Bam. Like, I wouldn't trade Bam in just about 99.9% of situations. Could they down the road? I don't think it makes them a championship team. I don't think it does.
Losing your phone there a little bit again. Man, I'd love to have you guys answer that question after his 6-point performances, because Solana changed his tune real quickly the next day after 4 points and then 6 points.
Sorry, though, he's averaging 24 in his last eight.
He's had a couple good games.
Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He was a runner-up this year for Eastern Conference. Listen, Bam's track record speaks for itself. We know what Bam is. Like, Bam is an excellent upper-tier player. You know, he just is. He's a multiple-time All-Star Olympian, but you need a star next to him. We saw it with Jimmy, what the success they had. If you throw in a Giannis, who I think we can all agree is better than Jimmy, this is a championship contender in the East. I do. I think that.
Go ahead, Hoch. Hate on the guy who just won the Bob Lanier Community Assist Award community winner. I dare you.
Listen,
go ahead. The guy, a steward in the community. Go ahead.
I love Bam. I don't hate on Bam, but I would tell you, if I was going to be left with only one player to build around, and you told me the one player was either Bam or Giannis, I make the trade for Giannis that includes Bam, because either way, I'm left with only one of them that I've got to build around. And if you tell me I can be left with Giannis or I can be left with Bam, I'll pick Giannis 100% of the times.
Here's the problem with that theory is, in theory, you're right. Giannis is better than Bam. Yes, we all know that. But to get Giannis, you have to give up all your assets. So if you give up Bam and all your assets to get Giannis, then you have Giannis with no assets to build around, where if you keep Bam and don't make this deal, if it doesn't materialize, you still have all your assets to potentially make another deal. So that's why I don't, you know what I mean? Like the theory of Bam alone on Giannis alone, sure, Giannis is better, but they have to give up pretty much everything they have in assets to get Giannis, including Bam in your scenario. So I wouldn't do it. I don't think that's the smart move.
Now, quickly before we run out of time, Will, are you outraged that Bill Belichick doesn't go in as a first ballot Hall of Famer? Or are you petty like me? I don't have any love lost for Bill Belichick. I don't think he's the nicest guy in the world. And normally I am of the side of fairness. I go, hey, you got to take personality out of it, and you got to, just look at the merits of someone who has earned their way into the Hall of Fame. But I also feel like he has treated people less worthy of accolades that maybe they've earned. And I'm talking about the media that he's dealt with. I'm talking about his own players. I remember the whole Jonas Gray thing. He was having a breakout season. He goes on Sports Illustrated. All of a sudden, he sits him on the bench. I just think there's times where Bill Belichick, and of course, Spygate, there are times that Bill Belichick did not tread in fairness. And so, yeah, it's not fair. He obviously has the accolades to be a first-time ballot Hall of Famer. But you know what? If you peddle in unfairness many times in your career, you may be the victim of unfairness at some point.
I think everything you said is correct. I think you're right. That's the reason why he's not a first ballot guy. Now, you asked me if the initial question was, am I shocked? I'm not shocked, but I think it's silly. I think it's really petty, but I think everything you just lined up there and said, hey, here are those scenarios. Yeah, I'm sure that's what a lot of these guys that didn't vote for him had in mind. On top of the fact, you threw in Spygate, they consider him a cheater, and I get it. I've always been a firm believer in Hall of Fame is about the greatness of a person. You can sit there like the PEDs in baseball and the Spygate in this case and all the things that are going to go into these decisions. But I mean, he's after Coach Shula, he's the greatest coach to me in NFL history. I think but he's going to get it next year. All these guys are going to say, well, that was your 1 year penalty.
We're having trouble with Will's phone. Where are you, Will?
Right now, I'm in the middle of Mars.
It sounds like it.
But because, as you mentioned, there are delays.
Yeah.
I'm going through. I just went through underwater. I just literally. I think I just jumped off the highway and went to the.
Yeah.
I'm working my way to the arena through every side street in Miami.
You're driving one of those Boston duck boats to get to the arena tonight.
And in the middle of the Giannis talk, it transformed into a boat, and I went through Biscayne Bay, and now I'm almost at the arena.
All right. Do you think we will talk one day about Jeff Hafley going into the Hall of Fame as a coach?
God, I hope so. I hope they get it right. I liked Hafley. I liked him, and I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. I said it the other day. The only two coaches I ever had a really bad feeling about after meeting them for the first time were Cam Cameron and Joe Philbin. Everybody else either had a real toughness to them or, a quirky quality like McDaniel, but it doesn't matter what we felt because none of them have worked out. So I hope it does.
But do you have an excitement level? Like sometimes you hire a new coach and your excitement level is through the roof. And I'm not certain anyone has that with Hafley.
Well, you know where my excitement level is with Sullivan, because I think that was the primary move. I mean, what do we talk about? You talk about Giannis for the last decade. How about the last decade of when is Chris Greer going to be gone? So the guy that replaces him, to me, is the biggest piece of the cog, because he's the guy who's going to pull the strings and, make the moves and shed the salary and figure out who the quarterback is. John Eric Sullivan, to me, is much more important because for two reasons. Number one, the things I just said. Number two is no matter what happened, he's surviving a couple cycles. Like if Hafley's not the guy, he's surviving a cycle to the next guy or the next guy. Like he's got his chance to build this, and he's the guy for the long term that's got to figure it out.
All right, finally, who wins the Super Bowl, Seattle or New England?
I mean, Seattle seems like the best choice. I mean, their defense is absurd. Sam Darnold's playing at a high level. They run the ball well. They're tough. I mean, I like what New England's done. I love Drake May. He's such a talented player, but I don't think they have what it takes, to keep up with Seattle with that defense and what they could do. I think Seattle wins by a touchdown or more.
Are you excited for the halftime show, Will? I don't know if you're like a Bad Bunny fan, so I just wonder if it appeals to you.
Oh, how about the halftime show at the Hurricanes basketball game tonight? I know you guys are going to be at the Heat game, but it's Red Panda at the Canes game tonight.
Are you kidding me? I spent a half hour promoting it to my assistant news director yesterday, saying, "Hey, the panda's there." And he's like, "What?" I said, "The panda's a lady that spins bowls in her head." He said, "We're good." I said, "What do you mean we're good? She's a Hall of Famer."
They tapped out on Red Panda?
I kid you not, last year I'm in Cleveland and we have a makeshift halftime show for FanDuel because we don't have a location. And they tossed to me, I cannot hear anything. I'm trying to break down the first half and toss to John Crotty. And I said, "John, I can't concentrate. Red Panda's 5 feet behind me," because I was on the court and the Panda's spinning bowls 5 feet behind me. It's a top 10 coolest moment I've ever had as a reporter. A legend was spinning bowls behind me.
Yeah, I always feel like that she's a good barometer of whether I like a person or not. If the person doesn't know who Red Panda is, I'm immediately of the belief that I probably don't like this person, that I'm not going to jibe with this person at all. Like, if you know Red Panda and can respect Red Panda, then immediately we've got something that I consider to be like a good attribute.
She is a goat along, by the way, don't knock Christian and Scooby, though. The little dog with the basketball.
All right, his phone's terrible. All right, get rid of him, Jimmy. He gave us his best.
He did.
He gave us his best.
He did.
All right, Red Panda tonight is the halftime show at the Hurricanes basketball game, which begins at 9 p.m. So going to the Watsco Center. It's a late one, but 9 p.m. Hurricanes basketball. Heat tonight on 104.3 FM. Hurricanes in Stanford tonight on AM 560. All right, we'll take a break and come back with more Hochman, Crowder, and Solana.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días.
We back at it with the steady, Hotman, Crowder, and Solana. 305, cafecito time, dame una colada. Got some interviews next, always got dope guests. Get the cesspool live, dropping comments and likes. We about to get right, talking sports, my G. Listen to Odyssey and 104.3. Live and back on GeorgiaMusic.com. Hitting it at the park like a Matt Mervis bomb off power. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for that 3 o'clock.
I'm ready for the 3 o'clock. That's our guy, Georgie. Georgie Music. Jorgmuzik. Does the theme song for our 2 o'clock open, 3 o'clock open, 4 o'clock open, and very soon, the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour open. Today, speaking of the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour, today at 5:20, you will have a chance to win our next pair of Heat Bulls tickets for this Sunday night at the Kaseya Center. And a very nice offer from Solana and his brother. If I wanted any of the Heat Bulls tickets for this weekend, because they're here twice, and you know I'm a big fan of Matas Buzelis and Josh Giddey, everyone but Billy Donovan, pretty much, and Patrick Williams. This guy's a bum. But I'm going to Naples this weekend. We're going to play Frank Caliendo later on in today's program. Frank Caliendo is performing Friday and Saturday in Naples. 2-hour drive from South Florida, an hour and 45 minutes, depending on where you are. If you're out in Weston, what is it? 10 minutes to get to Naples?
Basically.
Like 10 minutes.
Cross some land over there with some alligators, some panthers, and you're good. You're right there.
So if you're thinking about, I know there's a few tickets left. I know both early shows are sold out. Friday and Saturday, the early shows are sold out. But Friday and Saturday, the late shows, and this is funny, it's frankonstage.com if you want Caliendo tickets. But the reason that my wife and I and another couple, we decided to go was there's no football this weekend. There's no college football. There's no pro football.
There's nothing.
Like, what a perfect weekend. I hadn't thought about Heat Bulls, but what a perfect weekend. We're going to drive over to Naples on Saturday. Now, we thought we'd stroll around downtown Naples. It's going to be 4 degrees. But we figured, we'll drive there Saturday. We're going to see Caliendo Saturday night, and then and we'll have a little fun on Sunday and then drive back. And if anyone's thinking of doing that, it's a quick drive. Caliendo, you're going to hear in the segment that we play, was just a couple weeks ago, immediate top 10 segment on our program, maybe top 5 segment of all time, but you will hear just how great he is. And if you've never seen him in concert, go to frankonstage.com and you can drive over to Naples this weekend and see him. The funny thing, when I say early and late show, because it's in Naples.
Naples, right?
Naples is not exactly a bastion of youth. The early shows, which are sold out, are both at 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday. The early shows, I was texting with him because he's like, usually the early show is like 8 p.m. and then the late show is 10:30. The early shows, which are sold out, are 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday. The late shows are 8 and 8:30. That's funny.
Very funny. Can I admit something to you, Hoch?
Sure.
I love Naples.
Naples is a great area.
I love going to Naples, which you just said it's not a bastion of youth. Very true. I have a hard time convincing anybody my age, any of my friends, couples, double. I love the idea of weekend off. Let's go to Naples.
It's like the Gulf Coast is so different than the East Coast.
They have those no-see-ums. You
got to be careful, but not when it's 10 degrees out.
Good point.
Yeah. But you go over to Naples, it really is. It's like a totally different area.
I have this love affair with going to Naples. It's not even a vacation, but it feels like a vacation because you have to drive there. You're in the car for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then they have an unbelievable supply of just mediocre Italian restaurants.
Yeah, that downtown Naples, that strip,
I mean, it's so many mediocre Italian restaurants, which I love. I love a mediocre, just like mom and pop, old school Italian restaurant. It's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Mediocre art galleries.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes.
It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Love Naples a lot. Well, anyway, Caliendo will be there Friday and Saturday. FrankOnStage.com if you want to get tickets. Flanagan's announced today that they're doing a mashup with Vicky Bakery.
Yeah. Well, they didn't announce today that they're doing a mashup with Vicky Bakery. They released what the mashup
Teasing.
is.
What
But
they've been
been
teasing.
this
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Flanagan's had, and we love Flanagan's. There's no bigger proponents of Flanagan's in the media than this show. But Flanagan's loves the lead up.
Oh, man.
Major announcement with the Marlins, and then it's like, yeah, they're going to have our rock and rib rolls at one concession stand for one evening.
Well, it wasn't that. It started off with, hey, major announcement with the Marlins. And the first iteration of Flanagan's times Marlins was just like the CEO was throwing out the first pitch.
That's right. You're right. That's what it was.
Remember, we
thought maybe the foul poles were going to be painted like ribs, and it would going to be Flanagan's foul poles. Like we thought we had gone through all these scenarios. What could this major announcement be?
We thought maybe they'd play an inning replacing the baseball with ribs, like the rib roll. That's what Sandy would be pitching,
which I think is legal.
Maybe.
What's the commissioner's name, Jimmy?
Rob Manfred.
Yeah, I think in Rob Manfred's baseball, it is legal.
Anything goes nowadays in baseball.
With a rock and rib roll. But they announced today that there's a mashup with Vicky Bakery. So what are these? These are poppers, like a jalapeno popper, except what is in them? Did you say that it was? It is the. Are you sure?
No, I'm not. Because I just
saw croqueta.
But is it a traditional croqueta or is it a rock and rib roll croqueta?
I believe the meat that they're using inside the croqueta popper, which is what they're calling it, is the rib meat, probably mashed up a little bit, and then they're giving you the Flanagan's barbecue sauce on the side.
I
have it right here. A Flanagan's team, along with Vicky Bakery, for the first time ever, launched the croqueta popper, a crispy croqueta filled with tender smoked pork, paired with Flanagan's iconic barbecue sauce for dipping, a true blend of Cuban tradition and local flavor, available at all Vicky Bakery and Flanny's locations this February while supplies last. So, Hoch, it's a croqueta with the what you would get in the rib roll, just inside it's breaded and it's fried, and they call them poppers because it's a circular croqueta. That's the only difference between
I wonder why they didn't
popper.
do a traditional croqueta filled with the rib meat. I wonder why they decided to do croqueta poppers.
It might be like the elongated croqueta, which
doesn't hold together.
It doesn't hold together as well as the popper with the levity of the rib meat.
The levity.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, it's not right. You're talking about like the denseness,
the density.
maybe?
The density. One of the idiots. Yeah.
You're one of the idiots. Idiot.
I mean, that's what I came up with. Look, I'm going to buy this tomorrow. I'm going to Vicky Bakery. I couldn't this morning. But
I thought you said February.
Oh, is it February? So they're not available yet?
You just told me it's available in February.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You said that.
Well, then why the hell announce it today? Like, announce it February 1st?
You build up some excitement.
All right, well, I'm going February 1st, whenever that is. I'm going to buy this a couple times because I love Vicky Bakery. There's one right near my house.
Yeah.
I love croquetas. I love Flanagan's. I love
the rock and rib rolls.
I'm going to do it. But one, I'm not a big fan of dipping croquetas into a sauce.
Interesting.
I don't think if the croqueta is made properly, I don't think it needs to be dipped into anything.
But their barbecue sauce is elite.
It is. And two, not a big fan of the popper itself.
Right.
Because now it's like a meatball.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited about it. There's a Flanagan's right across from my house, and I will get that there because it's just a new.
Well, no, you can't. I think you can only get it at Vicky Bakery.
You literally just said. Did you not listen to what you said yourself?
Available. Well, reading and comprehension
You
is very
said
difficult.
available in February at Flanagan's and Vicky Bakery locations.
Right, yeah. Available at all Vicky Bakery and Flanagan's locations this February.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
It's tough to read and comprehend what I'm
Is
reading,
it?
Hawk. Yeah, it's tough.
Is it?
It's tough.
Croqueta King puts on the chat. Is Solana stroking out? I think he might be. Jimmy, see if there's paramedics or someone here that knows safety. You all right?
I am excited about this, by the way.
I'm not certain that you are. You don't know anything about it, and you just read it.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm poo-pooing it. I'm very excited about this. It's going to taste fire.
It sounds to me like you're going to show up tomorrow at Latin American because you don't know what's going on, when it's available, or where.
Just settle for a pan con bistec then. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Let's get headlines brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com.
Do you have like a Cuban bakery around the corner, every corner in Boca? Is it the same as in
Cuban
Kendall?
bakery? No.
No. So where do you go? Like if you want a cafecito, where would you have to drive to?
Well, why would I want a cafecito when there's cappuccino and lattes
because
right
maybe
downstairs?
you're in the mood for a pastelito or
Do you think I'm your dad?
But you never crave like a pastelito?
No, I crave avocado toast and a cappuccino.
I know what you eat every day. I realize that. But maybe every once in a while you
Great chat. Solana. Quick smile, wiggle your eyebrows, and raise your hands. We have to make sure that you're not stroking out.
I'm good.
All right.
Just because you don't eat it doesn't mean you don't crave it. I literally crave croquetas
Well, because
once
you
a week.
grew up on that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But
My first
you lived in
croqueta.
Miami for 30 years.
Yeah. But no, I lived there for 4 years.
Right.
My first croqueta was at University of Miami in the cafeteria.
Cafe Bustelo, or was it just
No, it was
cafeteria?
in the cafeteria. Literally at Pearson Mahoney, my dorms, at the cafeteria. I go, what is this? Croquette. What is it? Because all I knew was croquet,
Right.
which is a game. I'd never heard of a croqueta or a croquette. I had no idea what it was. And I took 3 of them and I juggled them. Well, now you know I got beat up all freshman year. I was the guy juggling.
Not surprised.
I was juggling croquetas in the cafeteria.
Somebody says
Gino Toretta wants to know why we had different college experiences. Well, I was juggling croquetas.
Somebody says we have to send Mike Cunha to test them out.
That's a great call.
Yeah, but he doesn't eat croquetas.
You know what? I think he'll do that because he loves to pander to the Hispanic audience.
He does. Yeah. Mike Cunha will fly under the impression of being Cuban. I thought he was Cuban for every time I've ever talked to him. I just thought he was Cuban.
Interesting.
Mike Cunha.
Yeah, Mike Cuban. Are you okay? Are you okay? Jimmy, I might have to tap you in because you may have to do preheat tonight, Jimmy. I don't know if he's going to. Is your collar too tight?
It is a little tight, a little snug.
I think it is preventing the blood from getting to your brain.
It is a little tight. It really is. If you're just joining us, there is some big NBA news. It's so hard to gauge this now because we get the Shams report that the Milwaukee Bucks will begin listening to serious offers, aggressive offers for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but there's the outlier of they have absolutely no reason to rush this. It would probably benefit the Bucks to wait until the offseason.
My guess is it does not happen by the trade deadline.
Agreed.
And it's the argument that we had the other day with Gelb. He doesn't want to be the bad guy. And so he's not going to hold their feet to the fire, especially while he's injured. Like, there's no rush on this.
Yeah, but could he be I'm not suggesting he's faking the injury. I'm just saying, could he return if he was put in a situation? Oklahoma City was on this list. I don't think there's a chance in hell he goes to OKC, but
you
let's
think
just
it's
say
like a Harden thing or wherever. Or,
no, I just wonder. This is a 2-week injury. It might, if he doesn't get traded, turn into a 2-month injury, and then he just gets shut down for the rest of the year.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But he's injured right now.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a major injury.
Right.
I think it's a calf injury that he's dealt with in the past. It's probably a 2 to 3 week thing. But because of the situation going on, we may not see Giannis in a Bucks jersey again this year, couched under injury.
Correct. I just don't think it gets moved by mid-February. I don't think it's a
February 5th
right.
is the trade deadline.
I thought it was the 15th.
No, February 5th, which is what's today, the 28th.
I just don't think it's this isn't one of those decisions that's like, oh my God, we got to do this now. It's Jimmy Butler who is making a mockery of our organization. That is not Giannis. Giannis isn't going to do that.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. But it's hard to kind of gauge what's real and what's not real because now everybody and their mother's putting out reports about so-and-so and this team and that team. Hoch, I would venture to say every team is interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Sure. I'm reading a lot of reports that the Bulls are.
So your gut is telling you the Heat don't get Giannis before the trade deadline?
I don't think anyone gets Giannis before the trade deadline.
Yeah. I would agree. But we do know several teams have made aggressive offers.
Somebody says on the chat, Jimmy's falling asleep. Solana's stroking out.
I'm good. I'm
Jimmy's
not
falling asleep. I'm going to be doing the show alone very shortly. I'm going to be running the board. I'm probably going to host Preheat with Tommy Tig.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to be convulsing in a corner somewhere. And I'm not going to know what to do. Len's not going to know what to do.
Good luck. Network. Just pull a Crowder. Go to Network.
Go to Network.
The Heat play the Magic tonight at 7:30.
If you're going to the game, there's a traffic alert. Road closures may impact your commute to and from the Kaseya Center for tonight's Heat Magic game. The vice president, J.D. Vance, is in town, and so they recommend adjusting your travel schedule to provide ample time to navigate the area.
I'm asking this question, and I'm not trying to get political at all. I'm asking for any high-ranking official. They really have to shut down the whole highway when they come by, like every single time.
Well, my thought is, vice president, how about you adjust your route?
I mean, really, like any vice president,
president, I'll adjust my route.
Really,
vice president, hey, you adjust your route.
Right, but like I'm on 836. This is 5-lane highway. You need all 5 lanes to come through.
Yeah. What are we doing here, JD?
3 lanes is fine.
Yeah.
Move me to the right. That's fine. I'll drive on the shoulder. You need 5 lanes to come through?
I don't know.
I mean, like, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get caught in something on the way on 95 to the arena. And then when I'm leaving, I'm going to get caught in something else because he's headed to the airport. Happens to me all the time.
I believe he's going to Naples.
Oh.
He's going to Naples afterwards. He's got a fundraiser in Naples. Now, does he drive there? Because he's just the vice president.
No
Does
shot.
he just drive across Alligator Alley?
No shot.
No, you think he takes a plane?
No shot.
Takes the Bright Line.
Be great if the Bright Line did go east-west and you could take it to Naples.
What did you take? Didn't you take a train to the west coast of Florida once?
I've taken the Amtrak to Tampa, if you consider that the West Coast.
You take, west coast of Florida.
Yeah.
Well, where else would Tampa be?
Gulf Coast.
But it's on the west
It
part
is,
of Florida.
but I consider the Gulf Coast to be called the Gulf Coast. Like the Treasure Coast is also the East Coast, but it's the Treasure Coast. So when I think West Coast, I pretty much go like Fort Myers south.
So the Amtrak does go there.
Yeah.
But from where? Where's the Amtrak station?
Deerfield Beach.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can get one in Miami or wherever.
All right, cool. Good to know.
But Amtrak, you could take anywhere.
Yeah, I know the Amtrak is pretty much in like every major city.
But I'm saying you could take Amtrak from Miami to Chicago if you want.
It'd take me 8 days.
It would take about 4 days.
Yeah, I've taken the Amtrak before up north. Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Darren Mensah, to get back to headlines, officially commits to the University of Miami. He threw for 3,900 yards, for those unfamiliar yet. Last year at Duke, 34 touchdowns as well. Apparently, from what I'm reading, real deal. Kane's got another portal quarterback that's going to start next year.
Seems like this is going to be their methodology, and you might as well do it. I mean, listen, you're not going to bat 1,000. This is like drafting players. You're not going to bat 1,000, but man, he's got the numbers that back it up, and it was worth a lawsuit, the threat of a lawsuit from Duke to try to keep him there. So I'm excited.
Seeing I just got a push notification about Giannis, but it's just Shams updating the story. Nothing new. That would be funny. Right after we say we don't think Giannis is going to get
He's
moved
gone.
and traded. Sacramento. All right. Your weather right now in South Florida.
I've been told here on the chat, JD Vance drives a Ford Focus. He's got one Secret Service guy sits next to him. He's fine.
Perfect.
So your traffic is fine.
I mean, they shut down. Fuck,
I don't know. I don't know.
I've dealt with this with
presidents.
Several presidents.
But I'm saying this is a vice president. So I mean, the motorcade is not nearly as big.
You don't think so?
Oh, I know it's not. I mean, he doesn't drive around with the football.
Yeah, I guess. But
do you know what the football is?
Yeah, it's the car that they drive around in.
No, that's the Beast.
Oh, that's right. The codes,
Yeah.
the launch codes.
Yeah. But like the presidential motorcade is unlike anything you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I know the vice presidential motorcade is still a decent sized motorcade, but it's nowhere near the presidential motorcade.
That's interesting. Guess it makes sense, but you would still imagine they'd pull cars over, open up the entire roadway. It's not like getting a police escort.
You can't have a car driving up to the vice president's limo and maybe dinging it like.
All right. Your weather in South Florida, partly cloudy. It's cold. It's in the 50s, upper 50s right now. Tonight, the lows are going to drop into the upper 40s in South Florida.
Somebody says, Hoch, do not Tate Martell Mensa, please. Hey, I didn't Tate Martell. Tate Martell'd me.
He Tate Martell'd you?
Yeah. Guy was a quarterback at Ohio State.
Mensa's the real deal, though. I mean, he's been playing. You can't Tate Martell Darian Mensa, but
somebody at Ohio State saw that kid in high school and said, this guy's going to be the next great Ohio State quarterback.
He was third string at Ohio State.
Right. It's tough to crack the starting lineup. That's why he wanted to transfer. He wanted to go play.
Does he have any eligibility left, Tate Martell?
Tate Martell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back.
All right. If the Mensa thing doesn't work out.
It's true. Somebody says Mensa's an ACC champion.
That is true. That is true. Boy, is he going to be disappointed when he gets here and we don't even get to the ACC championship game. Coach Katie Meyer is going to join us in the next segment. She has a big honor coming up tomorrow night at the Watsco Center. I should have saved Red Panda for Katie Meyer's night. Bad planning by the U. Anyway, Katie Meyer is going to join us in the next segment. Guys, it's the new year. You still have a few days, I think, to call it the new year because it's January. Improving your health might be one of your resolutions. But if you're tired, you're low on energy, you're not sleeping very well, you don't see much progress in the gym, it can be tough to stay committed. And Atlantic Men's Clinic can help with your resolution. They can help keep you committed because those symptoms are signs, most times, of low testosterone. And this year, Atlantic Men's Clinic is also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more. It's all designed to boost your energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. So with the low T treatments combined with the body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. So I'm talking more energy and better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, a renewed sex drive. It's very easy to get in touch with Atlantic Men's Clinic. You schedule a consultation. You can go online to atlanticmensclinic.com or you can call them. But when you go there for your consultation, they can do your lab work right there, have your results within 30 minutes. A Florida licensed medical provider will review your results with you and discuss your options. And they have 7 locations in South Florida. So call them at 877-455-7300. It's 877-455-7300. Or you can just visit the website, which is atlanticmensclinic.com. And I'll remind you, featured therapies are compounded, have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
My metabolic age is 15.
Yeah, well, your metabolic IQ is 15 as well.
and we're done talking about it. We need to just go do it.
Listen to the game here.
Hey, Coach, do you hear me?
I do. I'm trying to do a background. How's that? Does that work?
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, you sound great. Right now, we're in a commercial break, and our streaming audience can see you, just so you know. But I just want to make sure you hear me okay, and your connection seems great. So I think we should do it like this.
Okay. Volume's okay?
Yeah, volume's great. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna put you behind the scenes, and I'm gonna mute you.
Okay.
We just went to commercial break. We'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes. I'll bring you up, and you'll hear Hawk, Crowder, or Crowder might be joining us here, but you'll hear Hawk in a second, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
This makes me so happy. This brings such a smile to my face. Comes a time when we heed a certain call. You want to sing along, Coach? When the world must come
together as one.
I don't know if people know this, so I don't know how the "We Are the World" became the song that we identify with. You can get rid of the song, Jimmy. We got the
Please.
Do you recall how this became your intro song?
No, it was on in a bit. I was coming on, and you said something like referencing "We Are the World" as one of the all-time greatest songs or something, and I was laughing as you transitioned me on because I was like, "Are you serious?" And I think that's how I got stuck with it.
And then we just kind of adopted it as her song.
Yeah, I actually like the song, but
it's a great song. But it doesn't. I mean,
it's no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It like on January 28th. In 2026, just out of the blue for Coach Katie, it doesn't make much sense. But regardless, Katie Meyer is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. She was the head coach at the University of Miami for the women's basketball team for almost 20 seasons.
Wow.
The winningest coach in women's basketball history. And she will be honored tomorrow night with a banner that will hang forever inside the Watsco Center. And it is well-deserved. And the Canes play Duke tomorrow, which is the team that Katie played for when she was a collegiate athlete. So this is like a full circle moment. So first of all, you don't strike me as a crier. Do you think you'll cry when you look up in the rafters and see your name on a banner?
Yeah, I'm a crier.
You are?
Yes. I have never, ever suppressed an emotion ever in my life. So
that's all I do.
So
I didn't know you could live life without suppressing your emotions. I had no idea. That's interesting.
Whatever I'm feeling at any moment, it's really obvious. So I'm sure that it'll be emotional for me because it's significant. I don't exactly can't put it into words, but it makes you feel good about the people you put in place and the people you worked with and the players that played for you. And, it's a long history.
But it's honestly, this is reserved because we went to the banner unveiling for Jim Larinaga, I guess it was last week, and we saw you there. This is reserved for the greats of the great. And I'm not talking just at any sports facility, any arena that has some sort of banner hanging is reserved for the greats of the great. And so I wonder, as you look at it or when you were told about it or whatever, if you take stock of your career and what you did and the impact that you had on people, if you allow yourself to feel this immense pride where you go, you know what, this is really reserved for a special person and that has to be me. And I know it sounds like who would think that way about themselves, but in this instance, I wonder if you allow yourself that moment.
Well, not until now. After the buildup, I might be crying now. Goodness gracious. No, I didn't. I just, Dan Radakovich, I had a note said, Dan would like to meet with you. And I have regular meetings with him. So I was like, immediately, what does this mean? And then I went in there and he said, hey, this will only take 5 minutes. And I thought, oh, goodness, bad news usually takes 5 minutes. And then he just pulled out this piece of paper and showed me a copy of the image of the banner they were going to do. And he's like, hey, we want to do this for you. And it's well-deserved. And so, it was like, I was kind of on pins and needles. And then it was like a big moment. And I got emotional there too. It's just really, it's just really thoughtful. I mean, I didn't say, well, that's for me. Like, I thought, wow, that's a really great gesture that the university's doing. Like, that really means a lot. Like, I really appreciate it. And that's still how I feel. Like, I tried to do the best I could for this place that I love for a lot of years. And, they kept me around. And so now it's kind of like okay, let's recognize everyone, not just me.
What do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment at the University of Miami? And I know that's like asking to pick your favorite child. Is it the Elite Eight run? Is there a particular player who went on to great things or someone who wasn't tracking in the right direction and under your tutelage found who they were? Like, do you have an accomplishment where you say that was my best?
It's that there's a song named after me on the Hoch and Crowder show. I got a song. So that's a big one.
That was a big deal.
Yeah. No, I really think it's kind of like in those moments that you mentioned or in those player moments, it's the behind the scenes, the relationships that just were so deep and so meaningful. And people just, when you're a head coach now, you've got staff and families and aunts and uncles and high school coaches and AAU coaches that believe in you. I mean, that they really are giving you something they think is very special and they're trusting you with their child or their favorite player or this university trusts you with this program. I mean, it's so much of that you really carry like, wow, I really need to do a fantastic job because these people are really putting a lot of faith in me. And so when there's moments like this, you go back to Paul D, wow, he hired me. Donna Shalala went out on a limb, like you go back through all that and your first player that recruited that signed for you, your first McDonald's All-American, Shanice Johnson's hanging in the banners and Octavia Blue worked for me. She's hanging up there too. I mean, I'm just going to be next to some of those great ones. And that means a lot.
Now that you've been away from the sidelines for a little bit, what do you miss the most? I'm fascinated with, the athletes trying to fill the void of the locker room and the environment. Right. And then coaches, because, I'm around a couple coaches. Now Coach Hoch comes on with us. You are all sickos. And I mean that in a great way. Like you love the game, like the game, you are the game. You know what I mean? And, right. And I'm just fascinated with how do you fill that void and what you miss most about it? Because it can't be game planning. Like there has to be something that you genuinely miss. And you're competitive. So I imagine that's what it is, getting that competitive fire out.
It's funny because I really loved the game planning. I really did. I mean, I really got very deep into preparation. It was something that really got my juices going and seeing other teams and seeing what they were great at and seeing yourself exposed and making adjustments. I mean, I had notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of notes and my my assistants would always scout, but I'd have just as many clips on my own that I wanted to put together. That was a big part of it. But without doubt, you miss practice. You miss the reaction moments where there's just a group of people and you're sweating together and you got emotion and energy and someone does something great and you react and someone does something horrible and you react and you're just this boiling cauldron of like emotion and energy and focus and vision. And I miss that. But I also, it was very good timing for me. I mean, like perfect timing. So I haven't had that moment where I don't know, what have I done? A lot of it, I'm very grateful because the university kept me on, and I do have other roles, and I'm also teaching a class, which that gets me going too. I have interface with students still and challenge them and question them, and I'm on topic with all that's going on in intercollegiate athletics right now, which is really fascinating. I mean, I'm first 3 hours of the morning, I'm in my papers and magazines and ESPN and The Athletic and reading everything I can to get my opinions on things. So that's really fun.
But when you go to a game, we saw you last week, and I was asking you about life after coaching, and you go to the game tomorrow night. You don't have any moment where you miss it, where you're watching? Because I was watching Jim Larinaga. It was last week, and it was the FSU game, and Miami had a possession at the end where they could have tied the game or really even won it with a 3. And I was watching. He was standing. He's courtside, but he's standing. He's and I know he's coaching in his head. And I wonder if in those moments when you're at a game, you don't say to yourself, I should be doing this still.
I don't say that. I say, wow, I'm really blessed that I was able to do it. And I really have not had that moment where I say I should be. I just don't. I knew exactly. I mean, I had a great career. I was a head coach at a very young age. And so I coached for a lot of years, but I also was in this incredible arc of women's basketball and women's sports. I timed it pretty well, get all the benefits of Title IX when you're in high school and you ride that through and you get some of the first scholarships they're giving out at Duke. And then, you get the redshirt year, you get your master's and then the head coaching became something that you could do and really make a living versus just some pledge some give back. I mean, it was a real career. And so, I just feel like I rode a great wave, and I'm certainly happy to cheer the others on. And I really spend a lot of time trying to support other head coaches right now, because it's a tough time to be a coach, and it's just not the same gig. It's just not. And I just want the great people to continue to serve like I was able to, like Jim was able to. I want these young people to have great leaders in their corner that would do anything for them. And I'm just scared right now that some of the really good people are just finding it to be a different profession.
Did you ever imagine when you were playing for Duke in the mid-'80s and you thought about the future, did you ever think that women's sports, basketball in particular, would be as popular as it is, 30, 40 years later?
I did not. And that's why I really feel like there were so many of these women pioneers that fought like terribly unfair fights, day in and day out. I mean, even at Duke, Coach K, let's say he was practicing from 12 to 3, and we were supposed to be from 3 to 5. We had 2 hours, he had 3. If he kept going, he just kept going, and we sat there. So I watched a lot of his practices because we were sitting there waiting until he was done. If he needed 5 hours, then we got half an hour that day, and that's just how it was. And you didn't even think another thing of it, and to see the changes that had to be made in those moments like that then created the support and the marketing and the promotion that allowed this sport to grow. And that's why I was, the wheel of fortune that in Greek mythology, it's always turning. And right now, when things are good, you want the wheel when you're at the top, you want the wheel to turn very, very slowly. When you're at the bottom, you want that thing to crank through, and we're at the top right now. And I'm, but there's the WNBA that's, in negotiations right now. And you think about don't blow it. I mean, it took 35 years to get to this moment. Let's slow it down. Let's make sure we stay up here as long as we can.
It really is remarkable, though, because you've got the WNBA and Unrivaled, and there's genuine interest.
Coach, I didn't know this, that you played. I was just reading your Wikipedia this morning.
Yeah.
You played in Belgium professionally for 3 years.
Oh, how are the French fries?
Thanks for asking, because they invented the fries, and then the French sold them. Yeah,
I wanted to go to Belgium specifically to try the French fries.
Do you know that they put stew on they have stovefilet on top of the fries? It's like chuck roasts, and they pour it on top of the fries. Like you're walking down the street, where in New York you get a hot dog. In Belgium, you go to a fry stand and you get every topping, like 35 different toppings. They pour on top, but it's the best thing you've ever had.
Like a poutine? It's like poutine almost?
It's stew. It is chuck roast, like meat with sauce, and they pour it over the fries, and it was a good late night snack,
I remember growing up in Chicago, there was a professional women's team called the Chicago Hustle.
Yes, there was, coached by Doug Bruno.
What was the name of that league? Was it the WBL?
NWBL, I think.
Is that what it was?
National Women's Basketball League.
I remember the Chicago Hustle.
I'm so impressed that you knew the Chicago Hustle.
I was like, I loved tertiary teams growing up. The Chicago Sting were in the NASL, and the Chicago Hustle. But Nancy Lieberman was from my childhood. There was one female basketball star. It was Nancy Lieberman, right?
Right. Yes, she was fantastic.
Yeah, man, how far the sport has come.
Never came across Katie Meyer when you were in Chicago?
I didn't follow Duke. I think it was only because I
grew up in Wheaton, so
I wasn't. I was more into. I was actually a big DePaul fan. Men's basketball. Grew up with just watching the greats at DePaul.
My father played for Ray Meyer at DePaul.
Oh, really?
He did.
Yeah. I mean, those 70s DePaul teams with Mark Aguirre and Terry Cummings. Anyway, we're reminiscing. Katie Meyer is going to be honored tomorrow night at the Watsco Center. It's an 8 p.m. tip-off. It's the women's team facing off against Duke. You're not going to be torn during that game, are you?
Oh, it's go Canes all the way.
All right, just making sure.
I spent 5 years at Duke. I spent 22 here, so I know where my loyalties are.
Well, tomorrow night at the Watsco Center, Katie Meyer's name will be raised to the banners. We all got a sneak preview of it. We saw when we were there for Jim Laranaga's night, we saw her banner was just covered with a black cloth.
One little gust of wind.
But we know where it's going to be. We know where it's going to be hanging. So go out there tomorrow. Watsco Center, 8 p.m. tip-off, and Katie Meyer will receive an honor worthy of her, but worthy of only the greats, of which she is one. University of Miami, speaking as a graduate, University of Miami has been very lucky to have Katie Meyer in charge of that women's basketball team for almost 2 decades. It was a great run, and that Elite Eight season really was as much fun as I can recall in a long time. Because that was the Final Four season for the men's as well.
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
year.
Yeah,
that was
what
incredible.
oh my God, it was alternating days. It was just
Yeah,
that was
it
the
was awesome.
greatest college
Except
basketball run
the
we've
day
ever had.
the day they won to go to the Final Four, we were literally I was in the locker room with the team 20 minutes before tip-off. We're supposed to go out and play LSU to go to the Final Four, and we don't want to leave because the men's game was ending. And the team was looking at me. I'm like, ladies, come on. We got to see it. It was incredible.
Lock in. Coach Meyer, we love talking to you. You got to be a regular on the program so we can just chop it up with you because we really enjoy our time with you.
Thanks for having me on.
Have fun tomorrow,
I
and don't cry too hard.
Argentina. There's a new song.
Don't cry for her.
Oh no!
Argentina.
Oh no! What have I done? What have I
See
done?
you, Coach. That's
See ya.
Coach Katie Meyer. Appreciate her. We love her, man. All right, before we get to the 4 o'clock hour, I want to tell you about my good friends and the amazing award-winning team at Doral Kia. Whenever you want a low price, you always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia. Take advantage of a Pricito now on all your favorite new Kia models like a Sportage, Sorento, Telluride, K5, Soul, and more. Don't wait. Hurry to Doral Kia today. When my son needed his new car, he had a Kia Forte, got in an accident. He wanted another Kia. That's how much he loves the car. And so we went to Doral Kia, and Mitchell, the king of Kias, he took great care of us. I always say it. He will take great care of you as well. We went to Doral Kia. He got a Kia K4. Don't miss your chance to save on a new Kia or shop any of their pre-owned vehicles with easy financing, fast service, and the best value for your money. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Woke up this morning, got me some gabagool. Then I woke up the next day and got some gabagool.
WQS.
Four p.m. and we back on the clock, so don't get cutesy. Dog lead the station unlocked. We got the sports talk and the drama to make sure the T-clock. WQAM is the Avengers with no weak spot. For Joe Rose, Woody Bo, Omar and more, Tobin and Leroy giving gooses galore. Yeah, for 2 to 6 is reserved for 3 legends. The captains of America, not no Chris Evans. For Spritz to McRibs and calling out game scores. Hotman, Crowder, Solana, get ready for some more.
All right, I'm ready for some more. Who does Giannis play for?
The Bucks.
Still Milwaukee. Nothing's happened.
No, I haven't seen any push notifications.
I see some breaking news. Oh, it's Todd Monken again. Todd Monken will coach in Cleveland.
Apparently, that was a whole very controversial situation going on in Cleveland where they wanted whoever was going to come in to be their new head coach to keep the defensive coordinator. They interviewed the defensive coordinator, and then they couldn't get anybody who wanted to keep the defensive coordinator, and then he got upset. Now he's leaving his position.
Yeah, he quit today.
Despite the fact that they found the only guy, Todd Monken, who would accept the position with him as part of his staff. Thank God we're not the Browns.
We're pretty close.
No.
Bro.
Not that far off.
I'd rather be the Dolphins than the Browns right now, any day of the week.
Well, they've had a playoff win within the last 25 seasons.
Yeah, but
they maybe. I mean, it depends what you think about Shedeur Sanders. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't think we're that far off from being the Browns. Where are you making the delineation? Obviously,
they're a much bigger dumpster fire.
Are they?
Hawk, they're a much bigger dumpster fire.
Why?
They have a playoff win, and that's fine, but they have one playoff win. They treated the quarterback who won them that playoff game like bleep, and he hates them.
I got you.
So, who cares about that one playoff win?
But in other words, I'm saying, what's the big difference between the Dolphins and the Browns?
At least the Dolphins, and I'm not saying this in a way to kind of alleviate or I'm not apologizing for the Dolphins. That's the best way to frame it. I'm very critical of the fact that they haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. I hate the fact that they're stuck in mediocrity, but at least they're mediocre and they're not awful year after year like the Browns. They're not a dumpster fire like the Browns who never get out of that. Like the Dolphins are on the hamster wheel.
We've never gotten out of it either.
Right, but I'd rather be on the hamster wheel of mediocrity than on the hamster wheel of dumpster fire, and you're never out of being a dumpster fire.
But you could make the argument also that they're swinging for the fences when it comes to quarterbacks. They've got I'm not telling you that they have a great situation because they don't. They mangled it, and now they're saddled with the Deshaun Watson contract, and then they draft 2 quarterbacks like a disaster. All I'm saying is when you say, oh, my God, I'd rather be us than them, I don't think they're that far apart. I think
they're the laughing stock of the league year after year.
I think the Dolphins are.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so.
I think over the last 25 years, let's say 25 years, quarter century, the Dolphins are the most inept franchise in the NFL, no?
I disagree.
Without having a playoff win?
I disagree. I think the Browns are considered a more inept franchise, even with that one playoff win. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not so certain.
Again,
I think the Dolphins are a better organization than the Browns, but I think the difference between the two is negligible. And again, I've been a fan of what the Dolphins have done. I would have done what they did, bringing back Tua and Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel last season. I'm not saying that they did stuff that I've been shouting not to. I'm just telling you, in totality, over the last 25 years, there is not a big difference between the Browns and the Dolphins.
Oh, no, there's not. Yeah. There's not, but I'd rather be the Dolphins. Okay, fine. The Browns have their playoff win. I'll give you that. I'll concede that. But the Dolphins, at the very least, have had more consistent competitive seasons. And when I say competitive, they were competitive for a playoff spot. They have been. And that, by the way, is my criticism of them. They're just mediocre and they don't mind going 7-9. I criticize them for that. But I'd rather 25 years of that than 25 years of what the Browns have given Cleveland. Hawk, I'm just looking at their records.
But you've maintained, though, it's better to be epically bad than mediocre.
Correct.
So they've
correct.
And again, they haven't dug themselves
but
out.
They haven't done anything with the amount of disaster seasons they had.
I got you.
That's why I'm saying I'd rather be the Dolphins. Because, yes, in theory, I want the Dolphins to have an epically bad season like they did in 2018 where they only won 5 games. But I also want my franchise to do something with it. The Browns have just had that season every year.
Right.
They've been the 5-11 team every season. They've done nothing with it. And, man, they gave Deshaun Watson a boatload of money. Like, they're just a very poorly run organization.
Well, that's no question. But again,
I don't think the Dolphins are
make a very easy argument that the Dolphins are a poorly run organization.
Well, and I have, but because they haven't won. But and they truly are. I guess they are a poorly run organization, because I was going to say
it's hard to say that they're not.
They're not constantly in controversial situations, but you
they
could
are.
argue the most headline worthy stuff has come from the Dolphins.
Always.
Bullygate,
always.
Stephen Ross on a boat with Tom Brady. Your offensive lines coach smoking or snorting
blow.
doing blow, right?
Allegedly. Heat play tonight, but they host the Bulls Sunday. They host the Bulls a couple times this weekend, but the Heat, they host the Bulls Saturday and Sunday, right?
Saturday and Sunday.
But we have tickets for Heat Bulls on Sunday at the Kaseya Center. We're going to give away that pair of tickets at 5:20 this afternoon. So make sure you're listening. 15 minutes of Heat is brought to you by Durrell Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Durrell Kia or DurrellKia.com. Would you like to guess the line? Heat tonight hosting the Magic.
The Heat favorites
by
2.5.
4-point favorites tonight.
Wow.
Banchero's playing.
Banchero.
23.5 is his over-under.
Under.
You want to guess Bam's over-under tonight?
19.5.
19.5.
Yeah.
Norman Powell.
Man, he hasn't been scoring as well lately. I'm going to say it dropped by a tick, 20.5.
But no Tyler tonight, of course. So 20.5.
20.5.
You are correct.
Nailed it.
Jaime Jaquez Jr.
16.5.
14.5. Pella Larson, your guy.
34.5.
10.5 for Pella. Desmond Bain.
22.5.
19.5.
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs.
Heat killer. Jalen Suggs, 14.5.
14.5. By the way, if you are going to the Heat game tonight, there is a traffic advisory. The vice president, J.D. Vance, is in town. J.D. J.D. Vance is in town, and there are going to be road closures. So the Heat say road closures may impact your commute to and from the Kaseya Center. For tonight's Heat Magic game, they recommend you adjust your travel schedule to provide ample time to navigate the area. You want some Bulls lines for tonight?
I mean, not really, but go ahead.
They're at Indiana. You want to guess the line of the game? Bulls at Indiana.
At Indiana.
Yeah.
Bulls -2.
-2.5. Let's see here. How about
Boozy,
my guy?
14.5.
Boozy, 14.5. Take the under. I wish I could bet the over, and I can't bring myself to bet the under, but the under cashed again the other night.
Yeah, but this is it, right? Indiana, like this is the game where he
that
goes
he
over.
Should, yeah, but Billy Donovan got him, shadow banned. Josh Giddey, wow. Giddey was 19.5 when I looked this morning, and I almost put it in. 17.5 now.
Wow.
He might still be on a minutes restriction. He's coming back from the injury. When I saw it at 19.5, because it's been 13.5.
Well, who's not playing for the Pacers? Let's see.
Pascal Siakam is playing.
What time's that game at?
That is 7 p.m.
Trey Jones out. Yuki Kawamura's out. Zach Collins. Tyrese is out.
Kevin Herter over under 7.5. You see his big game winner on Derrick Rose night?
Yeah, and then he hit the D Rose. Yeah, that was fire.
Gotta like Herter.
That was fire.
Kobe White, 20.5. I saw today that the Bulls are potentially shopping him ahead of the deadline.
Oh, really? Potentially.
What do you mean, oh, really?
mean, Kobe White, big time player over there in Chicago, huh?
Guy can score. What are you talking about? You're hating on Kobe White?
The way you talk about this Heat roster is as it being mediocre, and then I have to put up with your Kobe White agenda is
You're
absurd.
telling me Kobe White, Nikola Vucevic, Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, that doesn't wet your beak?
Yeah, it wets my beak if I want to be in the playing tournament every single year, which is exactly where they'll be. By the way, the Heat are going to go 3-0 against the Bulls. 3-0.
In these next 3 games?
3-0.
Interesting.
3-0.
I don't think so.
They'll get blown out tonight. They'll lose by 40 tonight to the Magic.
Bulls are hot right now.
Hot. They lost their last game to the Lakers. How could they be hot?
To the Lakers. But they had won 3 in a row
Okay,
before
but
that.
how could you be hot
They're hot.
if you've lost a game?
Panthers are hot. They lost last night.
Okay.
You don't think the Panthers are hot?
Why? Because they went 3-0 last week?
Yeah.
But they're
You don't think
0-1.
the Panthers are...
You can't be hot if you're 0-1.
What are you talking about?
You can't be you can't be considered hot.
If
That's
you
like
lose 1 game out of 4?
you step onto the court, you take a 3, you miss, he's hot. It doesn't make any sense.
Not if I hit 9 threes before then, I'm hot.
But you missed a shot. You've cooled down.
No.
You've
no,
cooled
you're
down.
incorrect on that. Bulls are hot. Panthers are hot.
You can't be hot if you've lost a game. You're 0-1 in your last one.
We're going to play this incredible segment from Frank Caliendo coming up in the next segment. He's going to be in Naples Friday and Saturday. I'm going there. I'm telling you, it's worth a 2-hour trip. He's not coming here anytime soon. Go to frankonstage.com if you want to get Caliendo tickets for Friday or Saturday in Naples. We're going to play his segment with us in the next segment because it is worthy of a replay, and we never have replayed it. He was on with us just a couple weeks ago. In fact, it was the day that Mike Tomlin walked away. Remember, it had happened like just a few moments before Caliendo came out with us.
Right before.
Yeah. And Mike McDaniel, I think, had been fired the day before, or maybe a couple days prior. Quick look at the headlines brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com.
So everybody's upset about Bill Belichick getting snubbed for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, wah, Bill.
Here's what I'm upset about, because I've been thinking a lot about this. You were right, Hawk. I'm Team Petty with you. Who cares? He'll get in. And I have no love for Bill Belichick. I genuinely don't care. What I do care is that the voters missed out on an even better attempt to really upset him and upset Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, you saw this, he's upset. He came out with a quote.
Sure.
He thinks it's ridiculous, as he should, by the way. But they didn't vote Eli Manning in. And if you really wanted to piss off Bill Belichick, you don't put Bill Belichick in, but you put Eli Manning in, who will be a Hall of Famer, but doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer before Bill Belichick.
Or how about the final vote tally against Bill Belichick is 28-3.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I know there's 50 voters, and so you'd have to have 19 of them sit out and
abstention.
Whatever. Yeah.
You can abstain.
Yeah.
I'm sure it works the same as it does
I would imagine
in Congress.
Sure. You can abstain anywhere. It doesn't even have to be in Congress.
I've abstained from sex for a lot of times.
You abstain from making sense many times.
That is true.
No.
Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer, right? Am I crazy here?
I don't know. I mean, the Super Bowl wins, yes, but he was
two rings.
I know, but I just
and arguably the greatest play in the history of the league.
Well, it wasn't his play though.
But he threw the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't make that play great.
He almost got sacked 3 times, avoided getting sacked.
You think that he intentionally threw that ball into the face mask?
That's not what I'm saying. The catch is the greatest play ever, but
It's not the greatest play ever.
In NFL history, that might be the greatest play in the history of the NFL.
About? Roma Dunze from Caleb Williams is without question the greatest play ever.
Okay.
Second only to Cole Kmet in the end zone the other night.
All right, I can't have this discussion with you. I just can't. The Heat and Magic is at 7:30 tonight.
Somebody says, "Damn you, Solana! You made me lose a tennis parlay yesterday." Yeah, join the club.
We rolled right through the first match. I nailed it because you even looked at me. You said the 5 seed beating the 2 seed. That doesn't make any sense. And Rybakina rolled over Swiatek. Rolled. It was a breeze, just as I had handicapped it. And then Amanda Nisimova, who you should follow on Instagram, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right. Have you seen Sydney Sweeney's lingerie launch?
Can't stop watching it.
Oh my God. It's not human.
Yeah. I had one of those situations yesterday where I couldn't get off I went to the bathroom because you had sent me that just to have some privacy, and my legs fell asleep.
I bought 19 pieces of lingerie. It's like advance orders, not even available yet, and Lori's not going to wear it. I can't stop buying this crap. I'm going to be wearing it. All right. Anything else? Because I want to get to Caliendo.
Darian Mensah is committed to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Big news for Mario Cristobal. And the Panthers would lose 4-3 yesterday. They'll play in the Loop tomorrow at St. Louis against the Azules.
The Sydney Sweeney is not bad. She's mediocre text has come in.
Okay.
All right. Please don't listen to this show.
All right, guy.
Yeah. Please don't listen to this show.
Hate that guy.
Hate that guy. I mean, with a passion.
The other guy there, too, Sydney Sweeney's a 5 out of 10 in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guy.
Yeah.
Where you hanging out, bro?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hey,
you're at Faina?
Yeah.
That's where you're hanging out? You're at Faina?
At Faina, she's a 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. So get out of here with this nonsense.
Your weather in South Florida, it's cold. I had said earlier it's in the upper 50s. Somebody texted in, it's 64, jackass, or it's 61 degrees now. It'll be in the upper 50s in a few minutes or in a few hours. Tonight, it'll be in the low 50s.
All right. Frank Caliendo is going to be in the next segment. He joined us a couple weeks ago. It was fantastic. I'm not overselling it. He was really good. Part of the fun is me and Crowder and Solana just cackling at his jokes. And there's plenty of video of this up on my Instagram at Radio Mark Hochman, up on Frank's Instagram at Frank Caliendo. And if you want to get tickets to see him Friday or Saturday in Naples, you can go to frankonstage.com. Frank Caliendo is next.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Who are you comparing Kobe to?
Josh Giddey. Delightful to see Frank Caliendo. That's A-list caliber celebrity
Big
in
time.
my
I'm just smiling just seeing his face.
In my humble opinion. Frank Caliendo is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. He's one of the funniest comedians alive. I genuinely believe that. I said that earlier. He is all over radio and social media. His clips go viral all the time. But if you've never seen him live at a comedy club, you are missing out. And he is coming to the west coast of Florida at the end of the month. And it happens to be the perfect weekend because it's the weekend in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. So there's no NFL that weekend. There's nothing going on that weekend. So you shoot over for a little weekend getaway in Naples, which is a beautiful area. And then you enjoy the west coast of Florida and you catch a Caliendo show. You can go to frankcaliendo.com. He has 4 shows in Naples, 2 on Friday, January 30th, and 2 on Saturday, the 31st. And he's with us now. Hello, Frank.
Hey guys, how are you?
You sound a little lethargic. You need a little pep in your step.
The opposite way of your intro. I wanted to let you down. My buddy just texted me that he wanted to start our podcast back up because of the Tomlin firing or stepping away. And he does an emotional Bill Cowher. That's his he does tons of impressions, John Holmberg, but like he does emotional Bill Cowher. That's when he finds out on CBS that he's going to the Hall of Fame. It's the S's and that. And so we were thinking emotional Bill Cowher, John Gruden, and the ghost of John Madden all join forces to coach the Steelers.
Can we get a preview maybe of
I'll tell you what, man, you can get more than a preview. We can do that right now. Could you imagine me with the steel curtain, man? I tell you what, Gruden steel curtain, GSC, is that what that would be? GSC. Took me a second to put it together. Yeah. Then I had then I was in my mind making sure that the letters didn't do something bad. So I was like,
well, none of our listeners would have been able to figure it out. Neither would we, to be quite honest.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm not good with abbreviations, salutations. What would that be called? Alliteration. That's two sounds at the beginning. Anything with like that, man. I tell you what, we didn't hit any of the correct terminology there, but I tell you what. Spider 2Y banana. Let's do that.
Can you break the Tomlin news for us as Adam Schefter so then we can pretend that we actually had Adam Schefter break the Tomlin news with us?
It appears at this time that Mike Tomlin went into a meeting with the Rooney family and the entire Pittsburgh organization. And it turned out that they didn't even have to ask him if he was coming back. He let them know that he was done. He'd loved his time there. He'd enjoyed it, but it was time to move on. He has no immediate idea what he's going to do in the football world, although that is a definite possibility. But right now, Mr. Tomlin is going to take time with his family and enjoy the Amazon deliveries his wife has been getting.
It's such a perfect chef. It's crazy. Really, you do Kuiper. Crowder's had a run-in with, ever since Crowder was drafted, 05?
05.
So Kuiper told you.
Guaranteed first round, Frank. I'm going 22nd at the latest to Green Bay. I did the math. I was making $8 million. I got $1 million credit line. I spent up a bunch of money. I bought a Hummer. And then I went third round and I spent more than my signing bonus because Mel Kiper lied to me.
You got to take into account that I don't actually make the draft picks. At the end of the day, the teams are the ones making the picks. And a lot of things a lot of things happen during the draft. Other guys slip, other guys move up, and that changes the order. And a lot of times you're trying to figure out who's going to go where. And it just, they don't, a lot of times these GMs are drinking the night before. They have no idea what some getting into the hookah party, doing something they shouldn't have been doing. I know the hookah's fine, but sometimes it gets laced with something. Somebody puts a little something inside. A hookah bar's fine, but at the end of the day, if you're getting laced laced with some sort of marijuana strain that's a little bit stronger than what you were intending, I think at the end of the day, you're going to make some lazy picks.
Mel, did it hurt me, Mel, that I got arrested 3 times in 2 years and I was on papers?
I'll tell you what, having a rap sheet doesn't help unless it depends on the fast twitch muscle. At the end of the day, what's your wingspan? What's your ability? Certain things, certain intangibles, and the measurements definitely can bring you back up. I think like if you're a guy in a gas mask smoking weed before a game, that's a definite way to slide down. But in a couple of years, you're the kind of guy who could come back and get a second contract. But definitely, as somewhere along the way, if you're 1 arrest, 2, 3, it's like LeBron counting championships in the Miami area. I don't think. And if you're at 5, like if you run a 4.1 40, unbelievable hands, that's the kind of guy who can go up to maybe 4 or 5 arrests. But if you're in 4.6, 4.7, as a wide receiver, maybe 5'1" as a lineman, and you're under 6'5", I don't think you're gonna stay in the first round.
You had too many arrests for your skill set. Had you been slightly better,
there's a definite correlation. There's a definite correlation between arrests and skill set that determine the round of draft that you're going to be in.
Hookah party. I like a hookah party. Can we put this to bed? Because I've been hearing Crowder talk about this for a decade, how angry he is at Mel Kiper. Can you just apologize to him as Mel Kiper so we can move past this stage in his life?
Yeah, I gotta say that at the end of the day, I look at everything that making prognosticating is not really what I do. I do future analysis. Future analysis might be wrong. Prognostication, on the other hand, it's like Nostradamus doing a tremendous job in ancient times, letting you know what was coming, spoke vaguely, then wrote it down. Some of the stuff's lost in translation. We're not talking about the Bill Murray movie directed by the Coppola lady. What we're talking about is that at the end of the day, this is as good of an apology you're ever going to get.
There's no apology. Literally, there was a definition of prognosticating and guessing, but there was no 100%.
That's a pretty good apology. I heard the word apology, and I heard from me. There was something negating it along the way.
I hate to turn this into just a piano bar where we ask you just to do voices and silly things, but
hold on. Speaking of piano bar, you ever see Billy Joel? Tremendous job out there in New York. It did a great job singing a song of the Piano Man. It's 9:00 on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. He's making love to his tonic and gin.
I feel like that is something Mel Kiper would say.
It's not because you sing us a melody. I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and sweet, and I knew it complete. And when I wear a younger man's clothes, la-di-da-di-da, da-da-di-da.
Now, I can firmly say there is not another radio show on this huge day of breaking news with Mike Tomlin that has Mel Kiper reciting the lyrics to Piano Man.
I'll tell you what, I love listen to this, Hoch. John at the bar is a friend of mine. He gives me my drinks for free.
I wish Crowder knew the song.
He's quick with the jokes to light up your smokes. Open up that hookah bar.
It's fantastic. It really is.
Not in my demographic, I guess.
Can we have, I don't know, John Madden tell Tua Tagovailoa that his services are no longer needed in Miami?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you got to let a guy down, softly. You don't, if that's a tough, and that's not what seems to be happening in Miami at this time. The coach, I think, walks in and tells or the owner walks in, tells the coach, hey, I don't think we're going to need you anymore in the middle, of a player evaluation. And I think that's the kind of thing I mean, that's just the Miami Dolphins being the Miami Dolphins.
Can you have Jim Rome tell
and you
Tua?
Would think, 1 second, I would think, you would think they say the Dolphins are great communicators in the sea, that they have ways to talk to each other because they're mammals. People think they're fish, but they're not. Dolphins are mammals like whales. They got a blowhole. I don't know if a dolphin has a blowhole, but Dolphins have bullhorn, but that's the thing. They say Dolphins are great communicators, but in the football world, it doesn't seem like the communication is at the same level.
Are Dolphins great communicators? I thought whales
they
were.
talk
Dolphins
to each
are?
other.
One of the
Yeah,
best.
they
I
talk.
had
They
no
talk.
idea.
Remember, did you ever see Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
In Ace Ventura, he talks to the Dolphins.
That's
he makes
right.
that kind of noise there.
Can we have Jim Rome tell Tua that he's no longer needed in Miami?
Tua, you did a great job when you were upright, but there wasn't enough of that time. Dude would scramble and then get scrambled. That is not good. And that is not Tua Tagovailoa's fault. Dude was doing the best he could, wasn't getting the protection needed. The arm was not as strong as people thought. People thought he had a cannon. Turns out it was more of just a sawed-off rifle.
How about Pacino? Can you have Pacino tell Tua to get out of the building?
Yeah. You know that card you swipe? It's no good anymore. You can swipe it, but you're going to get a red light, not a green light. And you need the green light to get into the building. I'm going to need your playbook.
If you're watching him on the YouTube stream, it's amazing. His facial,
it's visual as well.
Visual.
As audible.
That's why I say you have to see him as in stand-up because he really takes on the persona. Is that at all similar? I don't know if you do Joe Biden, but it reminded me. Yeah,
Folks,
is that?
come on.
Yeah.
Were you the guy or the thing? Folks, when I was a young man growing up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, we had a great quarterback, Via Tungalova. Great young man. Played for the Alabama Tide of Crimson. They were national champions. Folks, Jalen Hurts. They played together, side by side. Teammates. Both in the NFL. Popsicles are fun. Come on, guys. Come on.
You know, I heard what was going on. With the Miami Dolphins, and I said I wouldn't handle it that way. I would handle it much more with compassion. I'm a compassion guy. And I said, you don't let the coach go in the middle of an interview. He's talking to players, and he said, this is what you did well, and this is what you didn't do well. And then the owner comes in, he says, you're not going to talk to these guys anymore. You're not going to call your coach. And Tanya, Tanya Harding? No, not Tanya Harding. Tua, Tunga, let me get this right. Tua, Tunga Viola. Voila. That's what a great chef is. A great chef, the best chefs. We're the best chefs here at the White House. And they said, voila, Tunga, voila. But we said, as great as what you're doing is, as great as you are, you're not the proper mix. You're the wrong chef in the kitchen. You're the wrong chef in the kitchen. They said, we're gonna go a different direction. And that's what we're doing with Mike McDaniel. Is there an S? Is he plural or is he singular? And a lot of people ask, do you know about Mike McDaniel? I said, of course I know Mike McDaniel. He did a great job. He had a tremendous grasp of the language, like me. We both turned a phrase, we turned tremendous phrases. A lot of people are saying probably the best. And when a great coach like John Harbaugh becomes available, a lot of people say, how can we get this guy? How can we get John Harbaugh? And everybody starts talking. When he wasn't available, when there was no John Harbaugh, people said, well, I don't know if we could find somebody better. Then John Harbaugh came along, and it was like voting him back to be president again.
Oh my God.
That is wild to watch. What's the hardest transition, Frank? From Morgan Freeman to Jim Rome, like there has to be a hard transition to do that, like you do.
If two voices are kind of close, then it can get messy, right? That's if it's a
because easy to slip into the other one.
Morgan Freeman to
Jim Rome. That's an easy switch because
it's just in the middle there.
You know,
if you're trying to go from like John C. Riley to Mark Ruffalo, that's a little harder
because it's a soft.
Wait a second,
change.
that was John C. Riley. I thought that was Barkley. That was John C. Riley.
John C. Riley, yeah, that's this right here. Did you touch my drum set? But I guess that could be pretty close to Charles Barkley. That's pretty close right there, knucklehead. I mean, that guy. Hochman really tried to call me out right there, but he's got no idea. He really has no idea what he's talking about.
We've had a long-running debate on this show. I think Step Brothers is one of the least funny movies of all time.
Well,
and
I mean, it's not like you're the smartest guy in the world.
Thank you.
But that line tickled them because they love that movie.
Can a very funny person tell you the truth about Step Brothers?
Well, I don't think Frank is going to be honest in this.
No, I think Step Brothers is good. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it's it's got a lot of quotable, ridiculous lines and stuff. I mean, the stuff that they do to each other in that movie, it's just antagonistic. So if you like that kind of stuff,
which is what Crowder likes, antagonistic stuff.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm dying. That was
good.
Better than I could have imagined.
Naples, I'm gonna go over.
Well, Frank is going to be in Naples on the 30th and the 31st. I'm going out there to see him, but I'm telling you, it's honestly the perfect weekend because there's no football. I looked because I was like, do I really want to miss a football game? And then I looked and I was like, oh, there is no football game.
I tried to get a stop in Lauderdale along the way. I don't know what happened, so I have to come back in the area at some point. It's not going to be right now, but Naples is the closest I'm going to be right now. This club Off the Hook is supposedly actually off the hook.
Well, it's frankcaliendo.com
Mhm.
if you want to see wherever he is. I know a lot of people podcast us from all over the place. So he's got what did it say on there? A tour that never really ends.
Yeah. And you can actually just go to frankonstage.com. That way you don't even have to spell Caliendo. Because in Southern Florida, I think people can get it because it's Italian and it's close to, it's closer to Spanish and stuff like that. But if you're in like when I go to Minnesota, they'd be like, is that Frank Calamari there? Yeah, I saw him on the menu. Yeah, he looked good. What an appetizer.
That's why I ski in Minnesota, man. That's my spot.
Excellent. Any other we're really out of time. I didn't get to Stephen A. Smith.
I understand that your time is valuable, but that's what we're going to be today.
I didn't get the Sandler.
That's the Stephen A. Wind down. I understand.
You know what I love about the Trump? I love the Trump. It was like the low energy, just kind of chopping it up Trump.
It's very quiet. It's a lot of people do the over the top Trump, but I said there's no need. I'm quite frankly, I'm very close to being a ventriloquist. I had a record when I was a little boy, when I was a young man. I had a record that was Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, and they taught you how to do ventriloquism on a record. And I said, if you can teach me how to do ventriloquism with no visual, you're tremendous.
All right, we got to go. Frank Caliendo, he's going to be in Naples the 30th and the 31st. I am telling you, I've seen him before in a comedy club, and I imagine in Naples, like it can't be a giant venue, right? I mean,
no, it's like a 300-seat club.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so you really get to see the facial.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? I didn't get the first facial expressions because it
huh?
really is spectacular, right? He becomes the person that he's impersonating.
Let me ask you this, Hoch. Would you say it's tremendous or fantastic?
What are my choices again?
Multiple choice. Fantastic, tremendous, or all of the above.
I will go all of the above. Frank on tour. Is that what it was? Frank on tour?
FrankOnStage.com.
FrankOnStage.com. I don't know.
Listen.
I don't know what Frank on tour will get you.
I do, because I have that too, and it's my only Frank page.
The other side.
Jimmy, that's perfect for you. FrankOnStage.com. I will see you in Naples. Thank you for making time for us today. You really
Whack me, I am out.
He's out, Jimmy. We'll take a break. 4 o'clock hour is next. 5 o'clock hour is the Funky Buddha happy hour. Ay, que frio. Cold out there. Funky Buddha, you can go there tonight. Obviously, you can watch the game tonight. You can watch Miami and Orlando tonight at Funky Buddha, the tap room in Oakland Park. But here's the big news with Funky Buddha this Saturday, and it is going to be a little chilly for, although Saturday, you know what? If the sun's shining, it's actually a perfect day to have the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival. But if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, it is the biggest event of the year at Funky Buddha Brewery. It is the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival. It is an all-day event on Saturday at the tap room in Oakland Park. 50 or more beers on tap and just music and entertainment and food, and it is the entire day. So if you're looking for something, if you're a beer lover especially, no cover. I mean, it's just a fun afternoon at the tap room in Oakland Park. So if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival goes on all day long. And you know, I had told you yesterday, or was it Monday? Yeah, no, yesterday, because Monday night after the show, Zach Gelb had joined us for the entire 4 hours on Monday. And then he and I went to Funky Buddha for dinner. And their food there is so good. You know, I always recommend the yucatats, and they've got them, and they're delicious. Also had the tuna tostones, and they were fantastic. And we also had some of the whipped ricotta, which is so good. Their menu is so creative. They may have a special announcement coming soon regarding the menu. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But tomorrow on the show, Ryan Sense, the owner of Funky Buddha, the founder of Funky Buddha, Ryan will join us in the 4 o'clock hour tomorrow. Maybe he'll make a menu announcement, but we will certainly talk about the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival, which is coming up on Saturday. So anyway, 5 o'clock hour is the Funky Buddha happy hour. I had started the show. By the way, we've got Heat tickets, pair of Heat tickets every single day this week. And today I have promised you that we're giving away the tickets at 5:20. So 17 minutes from now, we will give you a chance to win a pair of Heat Bulls tickets for this Sunday night at the Kaseya Center. Speaking of the Kaseya Center, if you're going to the game tonight, there is a traffic alert because Vice President J.D. Vance is in town. And so they're expecting road closures. The Miami Heat say road closures may impact your commute to and from the Kaseya Center tonight for the Heat Magic game. Recommend to adjust your travel schedule to provide ample time to navigate the area. So you're going to hear, by the way, the Heat game on this very radio station tonight, pre-Heat, with Solana and Tommy Tighe will begin at 6:15, and then the game will tip off at 7:30. Jason Jackson, Amy Audibert on the call. And tonight, if you want to hear Canes Hoops with Joe Zagacki, it's Canes and Stanford. That doesn't start till 9 o'clock, but you can listen to it on 560 AM. Regardless, it started the show today talking about Bill Belichick. We talked a lot about Giannis. And I started the show talking about Bill Belichick, and I was saying to Solana, like, do we aspire as Dolphins fans for fairness when it comes to the Hall of Fame, or are we petty? Because we're petty in a lot of areas. When it comes to Bill Belichick, I'm petty. I don't mind the fact that he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer because I don't think he treated people very nicely during his tenure as a head coach. And sometimes you reap what you sow. I mean, that's just the bottom line humanity. So if you go, well, his numbers, though, his Super Bowl wins, they would dictate a first ballot Hall of Famer, I would say yes. If you take all the other context out of it, yes. But if you're petty like me, I don't care that he's got to wait it out for another year. And I know he will get in next year. But they wanted to make him wait it out. Here's some of the reactions. I didn't get to this in the beginning of the show, but these are some of the reactions online. Patrick Mahomes tweeted out, insane. Don't even understand how this could be possible. Jimmy Johnson, former Dolphins and Canes coach, said, I would like to know the names of the bleep holes who did not vote for him. They are too cowardly to identify themselves. By the way, these are private votes. They are not made public. Now, will these get made public? I don't know, but they are not made public. Jimmy Johnson actually was on with Joe Rose this morning on this radio station, and Jimmy Johnson took it a step further. Like, he was livid. He was angry. J.J. Watt tweeted out, I can't be reading this right. This has to be some knockoff Hall of Fame or something. This can't be the actual NFL Hall of Fame. There is not a single world whatsoever in which Bill Belichick should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Ryan Clark, who is Crowder's partner on The Pivot, Ryan Clark tweeted, Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer means that no coach should ever be. It means that the voters have decided there isn't a coaching resume that warrants first ballot consideration. He is the greatest, most accomplished coach of all time. This is egregious. Julian Edelman, played for Belichick, just wrote SMH. Jason McCourty, who played for Belichick, said the amount of time he would spend in meetings discussing the history of each team from ownership down to players is unreal. Idiotic that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Damian Woody, that's a disgrace for whatever committee that decided this. I don't care what your feelings are towards Bill. You just made a jackass out of yourself, and you should never have a vote moving forward. Wade Phillips, why are they treating Bill Belichick like Pete Rose? Jamel Hill, Bill Belichick could have cussed out my mama, and I would have voted him for the Hall of Fame. Bad look for the entire committee. Greeny from ESPN, Mike Greenberg. There is no justification for voting against Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame. It makes the entire process feel like a farce. He's on a short list of most accomplished people in the history of the sport. Keyshawn Johnson, anybody with some common sense knows that Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is ridiculous. Goes on and on and on. There's a million of them. And I'm in this spot where I go, you know what? Who cares if Bill Belichick has to eat it for a season? I just don't understand what we're all in agreement. He tried to bend the rules and sometimes broke the rules at the expense of the integrity of the game. So don't tell me about the integrity of voting for him for the Hall of Fame first ballot. Like, this guy was known for not playing by everybody else's rules, looking for loopholes, trying to get one over on everybody else. So sorry if I don't feel bad for him that he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is just the way I feel. The other thing that we had talked about today was Giannis Antetokounmpo, and it seemingly being made known now that he and his agent are ready to move on from Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is actively accepting offers for him. And we can make this the headlines. Headlines are brought to you by Durrell Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Durrell Kia or DurrellKia.com. Ira Winderman wrote, for the Miami Heat to get Giannis, and I know a lot of Heat fans are interested, can they make a run at Giannis? Can they make a play for him? This is what Ira Winderman said in the Sun Sentinel. When it comes to the player portion of the equation, here, arguably, is the maximal version of what the Heat could send out in a bid to the Bucks for Giannis. Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Jakubonis, Terry Rozier's expiring salary. You get Giannis and Thanasis in return. Thanasis, according to Solana. You also have to give picks. The Heat can give their 2030 first-round pick and their 2032 first-round pick. And then Ira theorizes they could also trade Andrew Wiggins for an additional first-round pick and throw that into the package with Milwaukee. So you're talking a ton of players and 3 first-round picks. And then Ira writes, to recap, the maximum throw everything for Giannis package would come down to Hero, Wiggins, Jaquez, Ware, Jakubonis, Rozier's contract, plus all remaining available Heat first-round draft capital. And then the Heat, after that deal, would look something like Bam Adebayo as your center, Giannis Pelle Larsson as your forwards, Norman Powell, Davion Mitchell as your guards, and then the bench is Jovic, Drew Smith, Simone Fontecchio, Keyshawn Johnson, and then our rights, plus whatever might come back for Wiggins, whatever might accompany Giannis from Milwaukee, and then you've got some Heat two-way players that you can have on the roster as well. And Ira says, drastic? Absolutely. Enough? Possibly not. Too much? The draft capital and possibly Jaquez and Yakachonis might be sent out only grudgingly, but with plenty of liar's poker between now and next Thursday, which is the trade deadline, a hand that could still be of considerable value. So it does seem like at least there's an offer to be made to Milwaukee that would at least garner some interest from them. But I will tell you, if you look at betonline.ag, their lines right now for where Giannis ends up. Giannis Antetokounmpo, next team. They have the Houston Rockets at 2-1, New York Knicks 3-1, Hawks 4-1, Spurs 6-1, Raptors 8-1, OKC 10-1. Then you get to the Heat at 12-1. Then they've got the Pacers 14-1, Mavericks 16-1, Golden State 18-1. I saw one of the reporters, I forget who, had tweeted out Golden State would be interested in sending Kuminga and Jimmy Butler and draft picks in order to get Giannis to Golden State. So that's what the Heat, according to Ira Winderman and the Sun Sentinel, would probably have to put together to be in the Giannis sweepstakes. Now, is Milwaukee under any kind of, expedited reason to move him before next Thursday? I don't think so. My gut tells me that he's still in Milwaukee for the rest of the season, and then he gets dealt when the season's over. But I guess anything could happen. Heat tonight play the Magic. 7:30 tip-off. No Tyler Hero, of course. We know that. And then tomorrow, the Heat will begin a stretch of 3 games versus the Bulls in 4 nights. That's the first time in franchise history that the Heat will take on the same opponent in 3 straight regular season games. The first time the two teams have played 3 straight regular season games against each other since the Baltimore Bullets and the Houston Rockets in 1972. You'll hear the Heat game tonight, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, I think, in Chicago. No, Thursday in Chicago, and then in Miami, Saturday and Sunday. Other news in the headlines, Darian Mensah will be the University of Miami quarterback next season. He has committed to Miami. There was some great social media yesterday. He's at Prime 112 on South Beach. Edrin James is there, and Malachi Toney is there, and Darian Mensah is there. And they have worked out the legal issues with Duke, and he will be the quarterback next season. Panthers lost to Utah 4-3 last night at the Amerant Bank Arena. They had won 3 in a row before that. I started the show today jokingly saying, well, we know where Todd Monken has ended up. The Browns have hired Todd Monken as their new head coach. And Hurricanes basketball tonight, we had Coach Katie Meyer on with us in the 3 o'clock hour. The women's basketball team tomorrow plays Duke. Tomorrow night at the Watsco Center, they're going to raise Katie Meyer's banner into the rafters. They are honoring her with the same thing they honored Jim Larinaga with last week. His name is now hanging in the rafters at the Watsco Center, and it commemorates his tenure as the Hurricanes men's basketball coach. Katie Meyer was the basketball coach for 19 seasons here, the winningest coach in UM history. She was on with us in the 3 o'clock hour. Tomorrow, they will honor her with that honor, and the game tips off at 8 p.m. from the Watsco Center if you're interested in going and showing your support for Coach Katie. Tonight, though, Hurricanes basketball, they host Stanford. Game doesn't tip off till 9 o'clock. But the big news is that Red Panda is your halftime entertainment.
Let's go.
You love Red Panda?
Well, I've heard of her.
You've never seen Red Panda?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I've seen her on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's going to be performing tonight at the Watsco Center, and I imagine that'll bring a lot of students out from campus, hopefully, and the Watsco Center will be jumping. Let me see what the line is for tonight's Hurricanes game. Let's see if the Heat line has changed at all. I have to get in little action. I got to dig myself out of a hole from last night because I had the Panthers to win last night at minus 140, and that did not work out for me. And then I also had Solana's tennis parlay, which didn't work out either. Let's see here. Canes tonight, 9 p.m., late start. Scrolling down through a lot of games here. Canes tonight are 8.5-point favorites over Stanford. That game, again, will be on 560 a.m. You can watch it on ACC Network. Canes tonight, 8.5-point favorites over Stanford. And in the NBA, I told you earlier that the Heat were 4-point favorites over Orlando. That has changed to 3. Heat are now 3-point favorites over Orlando. I'm just looking to see if anybody is out, but no, it doesn't look like it. All right, so you've got Heat tonight, 3-point favorites over Orlando. Canes tonight, 8.5-point favorites over Stanford. We know, of course, the Super Bowl is set. That's going to be the Seahawks and Patriots next Sunday, a week from this Sunday. We listened to Frank Caliendo in the last segment. Like I said, I'm going to be up in Naples on Saturday to see his show there. If you're interested in seeing Caliendo in Naples, he's there for 2 shows this Friday and 2 shows Saturday. You can go to frankonstage.com, but it was, I thought, perfect timing because there's no football this weekend. So you shoot over to Naples for a day, enjoy some chilly weather. It's cold out, and then enjoy some comedy stylings of Frank Caliendo. He'll be in Naples. Look at the weather here before I give you the weather and then do the Heat ticket giveaway. So it's 60 degrees in Miami right now. Temperature will drop precipitously tonight, be 54 by midnight. When you wake up in Miami tomorrow, if you wake up at 7 a.m., 48 degrees. And with the wind chill, probably you'll feel like 42 or 43. It's going to be a chilly one in the morning tomorrow. Going to be bright and sunny most of the day. Highs tomorrow will reach about 70, 71. And then it'll really start getting chilly. This weekend, Sunday morning specifically, is going to be some of the coldest weather in Florida history. Sunday morning specifically, some of the coldest weather in Florida history. So make sure you are properly prepared. All right. Will Manso is going to join us in the next segment. Will Manso is going to talk to us about the Heat and the potential to get Giannis. I'm just looking to see if there's any news on that, but there is not. So we'll talk with Will Manso here in a second. First, let's give away these Heat tickets. So Heat and Bulls, we just said tomorrow starts a 3-game series, kind of like baseball. Starts a 3-game series with the Heat and the Bulls. They'll be in Chicago tomorrow, but Saturday and Sunday, they play at the Kaseya Center. We have tickets for the Sunday Heat Bulls game every day this week, and I told you we'd give them away today at 5:20, and it is just at 5:20. So what caller number do you want to take, Jimmy, for these Heat tickets?
I'm going to say caller number 9.
Caller 9? Any reason in particular?
No, just
All right.
the first number.
Caller number 9, 305-567-0560. 305-567-0560. Caller number 9 gets a pair of tickets for Heat and Bulls Sunday at the Kaseya Center in Miami. And if you don't win them right now, you're going to have another chance tomorrow and one final chance on Friday. Before we get to Will Manso, Cheetah Pompano. What a great spot to watch a game or a fight. They got VIP areas, 4 stages of entertainment, the most beautiful ladies in South Florida. And you know Cheetah Pompano has that amazing complimentary gourmet lunch till 3 p.m. every day, happy hour specials till 6. And, of course, I was just talking about the big game. Sunday, February 8th, which is a week from this Sunday, it's a big game watch party. And they're going to have it at Cheetah Pompano and Cheetah Palm Beach. There will be a halftime giveaway of a $500 gold VIP card, halftime complimentary hamburger or hot dog platters, $5 off buckets of beer, domestic and imported, $100 bottle specials. That is Big Game Sunday at Cheetah Pompano and Cheetah Palm Beach. I always say it. Every day is a great day at Cheetah Pompano Beach. You want to make sure you visit Cheetah Palm Beach as well. You can get all the details at cheetahsofl.com.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Who would be interested in Abuela Danger?
WQAM.